the now and here. Gaming tales you need to hear. Laugh and shout and sometimes sneer. Memories from all those years. Console wars and secret tips. Tips and tricks from pixel trips. News that pours from gaming sips. Critical minds and candid lips. And Generation X gaming show. Tune in where the thoughts flow. Rant and rave with words that glow. Weekly stories make them go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sarge McCluskey. What's going on, Sarge?
You didn't tell me about the starburst behind my head.
I didn't notice the starburst behind your head.
Before we even start, do you have any sway in what kind of commercials come on before your show starts?
I do not. I wish I did.
Bro, I'm tired of seeing the Ozempic commercial. Right? Am I slated as some kind of fat guy or some shit, dude? I'm tired of
It might be what you're looking at, yeah.
I'm not looking at fucking fat people, anything, bro. Why am I getting Ozempic every time the show starts?
I haven't had an ad on YouTube. I haven't had an ad on YouTube in like 3 years because I pay for YouTube Premium. So
I don't pay not to see commercials, bro. It's retarded. But I understand.
Well, I mean, that's what I do. I love it. I don't ever see it. People complain all the time. They're like, you got a lot of ads. I'm like, I've never seen it. I don't think you shouldn't get. You're a member on the channel, aren't you?
Yeah.
You shouldn't get ads on my channel. Oh no, the pre-rolls. You get the. That's not part of the channel. So before you come in the channel, if you're a member, you shouldn't get any commercials during. But if you are not a member, then you get commercials. I don't run any ads during the show. There's no mid-roll ads or anything like that, even though YouTube tells me you can make 20% more money if you make ads during And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
You're such a rebel.
I feel it feels scummy. You know what I mean?
It breaks up the rhythm. Like everyone can now quick grab their energy drink. I'll go take a leak.
Right. Well, I can do it manually. I can add and do it manually, but I don't want that. It kills the whole vibe. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. On today's show, Sarge, we're going to be talking about Hasbro. Hasbro has announced that it's making a AAA game with Saber Interactive, so we'll talk about that, okay? We're going to talk about Jeff Bezos. Okay, Jeff Bezos asks who should be the next James Bond, and we'll say why. Okay, we're going to talk about the First Descendant. Publisher warns games officially performing below expectations. We're going to be talking about Team Fortress releases the source code. We're going to be talking about ex-Sony PlayStation executive says that Sony doesn't demand that you make a live service game, but they won't take your game unless it has live service, right? So we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about Microsoft making some quantum computing chip that's going to be groundbreaking. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about WB Games.
What games?
Well, that's a thing. But WB Games insider blames recent struggles on the existing president's poor leadership, or exiting president's, right? We're going to talk about Avowed a little bit. We're going to talk about Rocksteady a little bit. We're going to talk about Marvel Rivals and show off. The Thing comes out tomorrow, and so does the Human Torch. So we're going to talk about those two things. We're going to bring up Minecraft a little bit, Minecraft movie a little bit, and and then Q&A at the end of the show. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do uploads, live streams, podcasts, gameplay, lots of different stuff on many different channels. So check them out below. If you'd like to listen to us after the fact, you can listen to the past broadcasts here on 30NSG, or you can go to Spotify, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Google Play, and listen to all the past broadcasts of this podcast, the Chatting With podcast, and also the Daily Grind podcast is over there as well. All right, Sarge, let's go to Wait, hold on a second. Where is it? Yep, what we've been playing. Sarge dances to that song all the time. You can't see him because we're off the screen at that time, but he does it every week.
It's a
every
good
week.
beat. It's got that back to Africa beat.
Back to Africa beat.
Yeah, back to Africa.
Okay. So another week, another episode. We're almost at, what have we had? 429 episodes. Sarge. We're almost at 430. Okay. So here's another week before 430. What have you been playing? What games have you been trying out, demoing?
I mean, I tried to play the Rogue Trader game, but it wouldn't download the whole day. And then finally, sometime early this morning,
Today you tried to do it.
Yeah. It said to me, we're going to let you know when it's ready. You said the 19th.
You have to reset. You have to hard reset your Xbox if it doesn't show up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like blowing on a disc. Back in the day, to make it, when you put it in the machine, it wouldn't work, and then you have to play.
Are the numerous updates
in.
my Xbox does all on its own for me not touching it throughout the day not enough as a reset? I got to reset
sometimes you have to do a hard reset. Yeah, you have to do a hard reset, which makes no sense. But
unplug it,
that's
count
what it
to
is.
30, and plug it back in. That's a hard reset.
Jones says, "Oh shit, today's Thursday. Thank God." Yeah, I forgot today was Thursday too. I sat here about an hour ago, and I was about to go live playing Avowed, and I went, "Oh, wait a minute. I got a podcast to do."
I wanted to download that too, and then I thought to myself, I'll do something else.
It's actually really good. You would like it.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I like the combat.
No, I get you.
I look at that combat, I go, if your combat system was only in Skyrim, what a game that would be.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
I love the fact that he's got the book and he's doing the hands. As I was watching it, I've watched a lot of videos on it.
You can dual wield magic. You don't even have to have the book.
No, forget that. What I'm thinking about is if I'm a full-blown spellcaster, right? And then instead of having tabs at the bottom that tells you what spells they are, you almost have to do like a Street Fighter move. Like you have to do like with the analog.
Oh, well,
like
it's sort of like
what
little
symbols, and then it casts, and then his hands would go like, and then do the spell. That would be fucking badass, bro. Like that would be a magic system.
You might like Immortals of Avium, because that's a spell wielding first person shooter game as well.
I'm just looking for a better system for magic. Like Skyrim was fucking cryptic. Stop, pick the spell, put the spell in, unpause. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? What happened to like just hold the button down, radial wheel, and just fucking pick something? Like anything's better than that cryptic shit. 2 hands, 2 spells. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's all you got. Like, no, fucker. Like, I want a good spell system.
Sorry, I was trying to fix my volume for my microphone. I felt like I was a little too loud.
All right. So, what did I play?
Yeah. So, what have you been playing?
Well, I played Battlefield 1 last night, which was fun as hell, dude.
That last match we had,
bro. That
so good.
Is Battlefield.
That's Battlefield. Yeah, that's Battlefield.
That is chaos. Trying to scrounge for 3 inches to get into range of the damn flag when artillery is constantly going off and smoke. Like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be.
We took that last point in the first section. Me, you, and Luke took that last point with no tickets left. We took
no tickets. No tickets.
Then we had 50 reinforcements, and then we died, and then we had a second chance.
Yeah, what 40? When you get 40. It's not enough.
It was such a good match though. I was pissed off. I went like 58 and like 19 or something like that.
Yeah,
but we lost, and I would rather get the win than have a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I laughed because we haven't played. Well, we played that one time a few weeks back, but I haven't played in so long. But I was going through the listings, and it said this is the definition of me hating airplanes. Right? It says my favorite vehicle in the game is the AA gun. That's how mad I am.
Mine was the horse.
When I play a match and I'm constantly getting bombarded, I'm always, if I see a fucking plane, I'm getting on an AA gun. I'm like, nobody flies for free. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I used to back in the modern day ones. I used to get in a plane and fight, or get on the weapons.
Even though I know people say it's trolly and they hated it, I liked it better when the plane's at the airfield and you got to take off.
Oh, yeah.
Because the synergy is I can pin you at your airfield. Like, yeah,
Sure.
you can. Like, you can.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means now you have to get on the AA guns, clear the airspace first, then get the plane. Like, that's how that it's a process. It's not just an automatic. You pick the airplane and you're just flying in the air. All of a sudden, like,
Right, you're automatically just get in there. I hated that.
Just for sake of argument, all the games that have now done that, it doesn't do anything better. You want to know why? Because the smart pilots know where you're going to spawn, and they just fly near that thing. And as soon as you spawn, they're already shooting you as they spawn.
But it does stop the person on your team jumping in the vehicle and then losing that vehicle in 3 seconds because they don't know how to fly the helicopter or fly the plane.
Yes. However,
and team killing because you're stopping. Get out of the fucking thing. Yeah. That used to be that whole thing was just terrible.
But you want to know why that is? You don't feel that way about a lot of games, but you feel that way about Battlefield because you're trying to win. You're trying to get to the point. Like, you're in your mind, like, I got to do this. I got to do this. We got to
Some people just use the plane as a fucking Uber. They steal the plane, fly over, and then jump out, and you're like, what are you doing?
They're just chilling. They just want to have a good night. They hit their pen, want to hang out, just fucking chilling, bro. Killing some guys. Like, that's what it is. Look, when I play, I got to win. I know. I'm too competitive, but when I play any of those games, I got to win.
If I have to wait a minute and a half for a plane to spawn or whatever it is, and a guy jumps in to use it as an Uber, right? I'm going to be a little pissed about it. Okay? Because you're not only are you hurting the team, you're wasting you're wasting our vehicle. Some guy could be a really good pilot and dominating. Nope. You're using it to Uber out there instead of taking a vehicle.
Well, I thought about that in the past, and I always thought that if you reached a certain level in like planes or whatever else, and you were at the airfield, you can just say, I want the plane, and the plane comes. Like, you get like a free one, like a free spawn, not like automatic every time you die, free plane, but like initially, the initial setup, the initially let's go type of thing. If I'm like you're waiting in line at the Vegas taxi stand, right? Plane go. Like,
they know what they should do? By rank. If a private gets in the vehicle and another guy goes, I'm a captain, get the hell out of the thing, it won't let him in the plane because the captain over dominates.
No, because you get people who would just high rank, just hang out near the vehicle, and the guy can't get in it.
That's right. Go earn your spot. Earn your spot.
There's already enough animosity. You don't want to.
Instead of shooting people, you're just trolling people by circling.
Yeah. But that moment we had last night, like, that's and I had polar opposites that night. There was the round that we were playing, like in the jungle, the Ardennes forest, getting hosed. Couldn't walk 3 feet, dead. Spawn, die. 3 feet, dead.
Right.
Like, that's that game, right? And I'm just mad. I'm just grinning like I'm just getting so angry. Like, I can't do anything.
You're turning into Hulk.
I can't even establish a line of fire. Like, I'm just dying constantly. And then the opposite of that one was that last match where we 0 tickets, took it over, stormed the hill, and we almost got it at the end. And we just couldn't quite get it. Like, both ends of the spectrum. Horrible time, an amazing time, and worth it. It's worth it. Yep.
Yeah, I remember playing because Robert Jones says about the transport heli. Okay, I remember taking the heli in the older games and just flying, like just being the pilot. That's all I did. I didn't get kills. I didn't do anything. I came, picked up people.
They asked where to go. We're going there.
I fly them over the spot, and if we're taking over a spot, I would go super high above A, and they would just parachute out and then get down on the ground. And then they spawn back on the helicopter, and then I would go pick people up, and it was awesome.
You mean actual pilot?
I loved Vietnam for that. Vietnam was the greatest because you could play the music.
But I think that made that game though. The fact
absolutely.
That the 60s music was playing in that
game. The 60s music flying
and by the way, it wasn't that it just played, but like when you were the Viet Cong, you heard it coming.
Yeah, you heard it.
You hear it in the distance, and you're like, "They're coming. We're fucked." Right? Because all you have is like an RPG and a punchy stick. Meanwhile, the Huey's coming over with rockets on the side.
That was peak. I loved it back then for that. That I hated going into the jungle, but I loved being the pilot. They should. Was that in Portal? Did they have that in Portal? In Battlefield 2042?
I don't remember. I remember trying to play, which I thought was a fun, what the hell was it called? Battle of the Bulge. the Battle of
Right.
the Bulge map, the snow map, but it was a modified version of the original BF-42 game. And I'm like, is this going to be good? And they made it good. Like, there's so many tanks and so many guys running around. Once again, Battlefield's supposed to be Battlefield, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Battlefield we played last night. I was playing in some tournament rounds with some guys on Dune Spice Wars. Bro, that game is like playing 4-player chess, bro. It's actually. I played 2 games last night after we played the Battlefield game, and I was exhausted mentally, right? Because depending on the faction that you pick is a certain play style, and then the people who play a certain PlayStation within that faction. So like, you think you're playing a normal game, like a normal RTS, where like, build up my economy, get some army, attack some guys. Like, you're thinking that level, right? You can't think that way in this game. Like, depending on who you're playing against, anything can happen at any time. In the first 5 minutes, it'll say like someone's trying, like, because I know better when I play human beings that I got to put a guy in counterintelligence immediately, because immediately it comes up someone's trying to assassinate you. Like it's immediate. Like, they're going for the assassination because they don't like to play the long game. So they're trying to get as much intel as possible and send out assassins and try to kill you.
Can you play co-op in that game?
Yeah, you just say, you and me are going to play together. That's all you do. That's what it is. But that's why
that one night.
But that's why you get mad sometimes, because you're playing. You're like, they'll chat in the corner. You can read the chat. Like everyone kind of politics. Like, oh, the Harkonnens are getting kind of greedy. And
right.
And you're like, what do you want me to do about it? Like that. They say cagey shit. They don't say, hey, you want to team up? But meanwhile, you can send private messages and like, how about you and I just fucking go kill Harkonnen? Right? You can make that kind of deal. It's not like anyone's going to stop you, right? But that's why the game is. That's why they call it a 4D game, is because not only are you fighting for land, but you're fighting politically in the government, and you can send out assassins, and then you can block people from doing shit, and you can cause, like, I was outnumbered, right? I was outnumbered and outgunned. And then the one guy broke the tree with me. So now it's basically 2v1. And I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do here? The other guy doesn't want to help me. He's trying to do his own shit. And so like, well, let's see what I can do here. So I had a lot of political sway. So the game comes up and it shows like, if you vote for this, it costs them 10 times much for military, and their military is only half as strong. The other one's like, if you pick this one, all their water supply is down by half. So I have a lot of votes, right? So I picked the tradies, and I have a lot of votes. So I pick the votes in each of the ones, and I had a lot of influence. I picked the influence, and then when the votes come up to see what happens, I smacked this guy with the penalty. I smacked that guy with a penalty, and then I got some free assassins and shit. So now I just send out my assassins, and I know where they're going to attack me from. So as soon as they start coming across the board, you send the assassins out first, and the assassins can't be seen, right, until they're really close. And when they're really close, you have to manually click on them to start attacking them. So if they touch the unit before they kill them, the whole unit dies. So I held my own for like 20 minutes. And then the curses start in the corner. You fucker, you this, you that. Like you guys are all against me. I don't understand this is how the game is played.
They're mad at you for them attacking you.
Well, no, they're mad because their master plan of doing a 2v1, and then I used political stuff to even the odds, and that you can still survive. It's not like if it's a 2v1, you're out of the game, you're going to be dead.
Right? Like, I'm trying to kill you, and you're making me upset because you're screwing me over.
The game doesn't allow. There's an ebb and flow to it. How do I explain it to you? You can attack somebody anytime you want, but if you want to take over the land, it costs a currency. There's a lot of currencies. It makes you crazy, right? It costs authority, right? So your strength and your authority as a leader gives you the ability to take over this town. Now, if you try to take it over without that, they just rebel against you and all kinds of shit. There's no point in taking it over. So if you don't attack anybody and you keep building up authority, and then you go on this massive offensive, then yeah, you could take over like 2 or 3 properties and push into some guy's land. But you can't just do that forever, because you're dealing with I'm not gonna shit you here, bro. There's like 10 currencies. It's fucking madness.
Is there more or less currencies than Destiny?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Remind me of the Destiny currencies. Like 1, 2.
There was like
3.
25, something like that. It was ridiculous.
Probably a little
Every time they had
less.
an event, there was a new currency.
A little less. But that's just how the game is. So like when you're playing it, you're moving your mouse around, but you're looking at everything all the time. Like you're not looking at your guys.
You're playing on PC, correct?
Oh yeah, you have to play on PC.
Yeah.
You could play it on Xbox. It's free because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't get the motions down.
Yeah,
that
it's always
get
weird to play those games with the controller.
Yeah. So played that. That knocks out most of the week. And then I still play Dawn of War. I play Dawn of War 2. I'm in the RTS mode again. It's just about right around February, March. I'm into RTSs.
Yeah, you go through cycles like it's like seasons of fruit.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
I'll play RTSs for about a month or so, and then I'll play something else for about a month or so. Like I'm hoping for the itch to get Baldur's Gate, but I'm watching the stock market, bro. It's fucking crazy. This is what I'm doing all day long.
That's a different game. That's a completely different game.
That's a completely different game. It's a completely different
So
game.
I played a game. Well, obviously I played Battlefield 1. I'll start with the movie game called Cinema Simulator.
I was aggravated. I was watching you.
2025. Okay,
bunch of stoners you got working for you.
It was $9. Okay,
I get it.
Came out.
I get it.
It's one of those games that we're talking when we talk minimal viable product games. That's what this is. This is minimal viable product, and what I mean by that is that it's cool. I'm running a cinema. I always say if I run a cinema, this is how I'm going to run it, whatever type of thing, right? And you can sort of do that in the game, but like if you hire a cashier, they make a joke like it's a blue hair girl, like she's a Karen type of thing, okay? But then if you hire a second cashier, you would think they would have a different model. Nope, it's the exact same model, right? And then the drink machine has the same models, even though one's named Trevor and one's named Haley, it's the same. And then there's Joey, who runs the popcorn machine, who's literally just stoned out of his mind, okay? He just looks so ridiculous. That's minimal viable product, right? Like at least the cleaning people and the technicians look different, and the security guards. Okay, now it is in beta. Okay, it's in beta, so maybe they'll add different things, but like minimal viable product. It is fun though because you're starting to operate and you're unlocking one theater. You start with one theater in your giant building.
It's a corn theater, right?
No, it's a regular theater, and they have movies inside there, and they're putting videos on the screen.
Real theater.
What's really funny is when someone does something, like they try to record something, or they're smoking, or they have a camera, or whatever, you go inside there and you smack the shit out of them, and then they run out. Okay,
like you actually physically slapped them.
Yeah, they go, ah, and then they run out. Okay, and there is a simulator-esque where you're trying to place a movie in a theater. When it's easy when you have one theater, right? So each movie has a time frame of if it's like 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. So near the end of my play of the 3-4 hours I was playing, I unlocked a one-time slot. So it's like every hour you can just put it in there. But you would think you could just put it in one theater, but you need time in between the theaters to clean up and whatnot, so your rating doesn't go haywire. So you have to balance between like 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you have to get multiple theaters, and then you have to time out the things. But then there's breaks.
But it doesn't escalate so quickly. It's like
it
gets more difficult by you upgrading. It gets a little bit more difficult, and by you upgrading, it gets a little bit more difficult. Like
then
you're doing it to yourself,
right? Then you have to manage the employees, and you want the highest tier speed for the lowest cost, obviously. Right.
Just
and
like real life.
But it's random, right? It's random as far as when you can hire, because someone might apply for you, but you might have 4 security guards and like 1 cashier, and the cashier is just dumb. You're like, I'm not going to use that one. So you're like, I'm not going to hire anyone this time around. While you're doing that, you can also upgrade the floors and the walls and the posters and the seating and all the stuff there. I think it's funny that there's no bathroom in the very beginning in your building. You have to unlock the $10,000 wall.
I don't understand that. How can there be no bathroom?
Right, there's no bathroom, so they just piss on the ground.
No,
right?
They don't. They piss on the ground?
Yeah, they piss on the ground.
No, they just don't, bro.
Yeah, there's just a puddle underneath them.
Stop it.
Yeah, I swear to God. Right? And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Right? There's trash, there's pee. Right? Now that I opened up the bathroom, there's no pee on the ground anymore. Okay.
Like I'll give it to like when I go out to downtown areas. There's always some kind of homeless guy who's pissing in the parking garage and makes the whole parking garage stairwell smell like piss.
Oh yeah, the stairwell.
But
of piss.
I didn't think
Yeah.
they would actually do that for a video game for realism purposes.
Here, let me bring up.
I don't need to see urine guy. I don't if that's what you're trying to bring up. I
Let me.
don't
bring
need to see that.
Let me see. Let me bring up the. Where is it? Did I not?
I appreciate the realism for the game, but I don't need to see that. We're good.
So, yeah. So here, this is it.
I think you should.
How
How about the trading card game? Did you already conquer it? I like trading card game.
I want to go back. They haven't updated it. They were updating it. I should say, a lot when it first came out, and then they haven't done so much. Right. I'll put it.
My problem with this is all the square footage you have. It looks like a goddamn airport. Like it seems like you're wasting all this goddamn space.
Yeah.
Does anyone understand about square footage? Like okay, look, this is the waiting area. I get it, right? Walk into the other room, and then why is this so large? Like, what is this?
Yeah. It's like
a laser tag arena. Like, I don't understand what that is.
Yeah. So, like, these little games are fun for like a night or two. TCG got me for like 35 to 40 hours. This, I'm in for. I could put more in. You can open up a drive-in theater next door, so I kind of want to play up until that and see how that operates as well.
Theater.
Yeah, there's a drive-in theater next door. All right, but I want.
I did.
This sounds weird, but I want more. I want to compete, right? So, like, I want other theaters. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember that movie theater game where you used to make actual studio movies and compete for the movie studio?
They need to remake a game like that with today's.
They did. They did.
Where?
No, it just came out like 6 months ago.
Stop it.
No, there is. There's
where like you actually film a movie yourself.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing as movie studio.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they just came out with it like 6 months ago. Yeah.
Because that game back in the day was awesome.
I think it's called Studio something. But I want to have competition. I said this even in TCG. Like, I want other comic book shops down the road that you're competing with, and you have to compete prices and whatnot, right? Just give it a little bit more, strategic type of stuff. Run ads.
Well, give you something to bounce off of what you're trying to do.
Right.
If what you're doing is better than the other person.
Right. Like, I want to run ads for television to come to my theater or something like that. You have to put an advertisement market in to get more people to come to your theater or something like that. I also want, because it's weird in this game, so they just keep sending you people, right? So seating them in the seating charts like a game in itself, right? Because they'll come in and say, I want the 9 p.m. or 3 p.m. show in row D, and you're like, okay, great, and you put it in D, and the next people come in.
They ask for the seat?
Yeah, they ask for the seat, okay? Which is weird because if they ask for the seat, which is fine, you're reserving the seats for them. But then other people come in, they're like, I want D as well, but there's only 5 seats and 7 people came in. Then you put them in C, and they're like, well, these are not the seats I asked for. And then they
wait for the next show. Shut the fuck up.
Wait for the popularity goes down, or you give them the next seats in the next theater or the next showing. It's just a little off. So the person that's making this,
the juggling that they're inventing is not like actual juggling. That's just nonsense. Right. I got it.
It's more of a nuisance. Not really a gaming thing. It's more of just a, well, you have to choose. Do you tell them to go away, or do you put them in the next show? And if you put them in the next show, they're like, this is not the seats I asked for. So it's a little weird, but I'm having fun with that. That's a fun little game. $10. It was like $9. It was $11. It was on sale, 20% off. So I paid like a little over $9 for it. I thought it was pretty good, right? So that's one of the games I was playing. And then I was playing Avowed, okay? And I thought Avowed. Here, I'll bring up. We're playing Avowed after the show tonight as well. Okay, I'll just pick a spot here. Let me just pick halfway just to show you, right? And I'm liking Avowed. I think Avowed is a fun game. I think the combat's really fun. I think it's the best part of the whole game, to be honest with you. The voice acting is good. The dialogue is okay. The open worldness of the place. It opens up when you first get to the first section. It feels good. But the world feels like a studio. Okay, not as bad as Skill Up made it sound. All right, like walking up to people in the towns, like I'm fighting someone in the area, but walking up to someone in the towns don't feel like a Skyrim, don't feel like a Grand Theft Auto.
Their own thing. That's right, it's their own thing.
They're just standing around. They don't react to what you are doing, right? So other than that, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. We're going to continue playing this, but yeah. Avowed's on Game Pass. Avowed's out right now. $70. I can't tell you if it's worth $70 or not. I've only put in 4 hours. So obviously when I get more into the game, I can tell you when I'm, 30 hours in, is it worth the money or worth your time? Obviously, I'm never one to rush out to tell people to go, hey, you got to pick this up. Like, each their own. If you're looking, I don't know anything about Pillars of Eternity. Never played Pillars of Eternity. I don't know the universe of Pillars of Eternity, right? I like this because it's first person. I like it that it's third person. I wish, though, they would patch
the magic system.
The third person. The third person, when you're in third person, I like the option that you could be third person, first person, but it's skatey. It's like you're not attached to the world. It's like when you're walking, you're not sliding. It's like you have ice skates on.
You're floating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It breaks that immersion for me, but I like
all that is the timing of the footsteps and how far you move based on how far the guy walks.
Right.
Like if the guy steps out this far and when you walk, you'll see that he kind of slides before his foot moves over again. Like it's just the way they decode it. A lot of the games that I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. A lot of games that rush it, that's what you end up doing. You see stuff like it's almost kind of like an MMO, right? When you run in an MMO, that's how it is. It's just a sliding.
I do it right here.
It is.
In the very beginning.
Jesus. Is that Jesus?
That's Jesus. It's my Jack Burton. Yeah, it's Jesus.
Jack Burton. That's Jesus.
Yeah. No, it's Jack Burton and his Santa Claus phase.
That's Yoda. That's Yoda all grown up and Jesus.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to the spot where I'm walking in third person. Okay, so you can see me, like, the way he walks. It's very. I don't know if it comes across. Yeah, see, he's like sliding. He's like. Yeah, it ruins it for me. So first person's actually really fun. I like going in first person. I stick with first person. Like I said, the combat, the magic's pretty good.
The one thing I still don't understand, and once again, I'm nitpicking. Like, you're walking around, it's cool, but I don't have to see no one walks around like this.
Yeah,
like,
with your hands up on there.
like if you wanna show me walking and you want to show a little bit of the hands just down by my sides coming up on the screen, that's fine. But if I go into a stance, then that's fine. But I don't like the thing where you're walking around and your hands are just out like this. That to me breaks the immersion.
That's so you're still there, Sarge. It's you know what I mean. So
yeah, I get it, but that's why I think the little corner things. If you have your hands, you're walking. People.
Yeah.
You're not one of those people that walk with their hands that don't move, right?
No.
Have you seen people like that? No. Have you seen people like that?
That's psychopathic. What do you mean they don't move?
Have you ever seen someone walk but they don't swing their arms?
They just.
No, they don't crunch their shoulders. I've never seen
that.
It's creepy as fuck. Let me just tell you.
Don't you need your arms to like balance you as you walk?
You would think, but I've seen people walk and they don't move their arms.
I mean, I've seen a guy with no arms walk,
and it's not because they're injured. Like they don't.
Yeah, I've seen a guy with no arms walk, and that's fine because obviously he can't swing his arms. He doesn't have any arms, right? I like Avowed. We're gonna play it more tonight, right after this show. It'll at the end of this show, it'll redirect you to the other channel, 30 and Still Gaming.
How are the? I saw a lot of the magic stuff. The one
I like the magic. The magic's fun.
Are the weapons impactful? Does it feel like when you connect with somebody? Right?
Yeah, so I tried a couple different ones. I tried the pistol, I tried the sword, I tried the axe, the hammer, and also a spear. And every single one feels different of the ones I've tried so far. They do.
That's
different.
Usually a complaint. Like you do a sword and a spear, and it's exactly the same.
The hammer's got weight to it. It feels like it has weight to it. Obviously, there's no weight. It's fucking zeros and ones. But it feels like it has some weight to it. The way they do the animations and stuff like that. So that feels good. The spear feels good, and then the combos they do once you get the stun. You have more length with the spear.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then also the shields that you have work really well. And then when your stun meter goes all the way up against the other people, you do this like really cool like combo move. It all depends on what.
Can you activate the move, or does it activate all by itself?
No, once the yellow bar fills up all the way on the enemy, it does an automatic like combo move. Okay. Yeah,
like when you can't set it up to where like you stun them and then activate the combo move, like that kind of thing, or you can if you're bouncing between multiple enemies.
Maybe you can as you level up. As of right now in the game, I cannot. There's nothing that I can do as far as that. Maybe chat can answer that question if someone's longer in the game. But each weapon has a little combo move. Like, it was different with the spear than it was with the hammer, which was different than the sword. Okay, so they each had like their own little special move or whatnot. Okay, then here I'll bring this up a little bit. So I forget who was talking in Discord. One person said they were in the final area and they were only like level 17. Then I know Akuta Papa was like in the first area still. Oh no, his Eclipse was in the first area still, and he was level 20. Right, so like. Obviously, I think
side quest and somebody.
Yeah, I think a lot of different people play different games different ways. I'm more of a guy that goes everywhere, searches for everything. So I'll be overpowered by the time I get to end game. Where someone else that shoots through the main story will be underpowered, because a lot of people are saying that even in the reviews, and I think this is because people are just going through the main story and not doing more side quests or exploring. Maybe they're doing side quests, but they're not exploring as much. Right? They're just doing side missions, main story, and they say that the enemies feel very spongy. Okay, I haven't come across spongy except like these bosses and stuff, but different weapons do different things against people, right? So, for instance, I was playing against one character, and the spears were really good against the bears. Okay, which is better than using the hammer on the bear, or
but you don't know that right away.
So, you would have to look at.
You have to be playing. You
figure it out. And go, oh, this does more damage.
Yeah.
Then you can also level up your gear, right? So you can level up your gear at your camps with materials that you find. So you can make yourself more powerful. You can level up your character. You can level up the gear. Okay. So I think a lot of people that are doing reviews maybe aren't doing this. And that's why it's more spongy for them. But I don't know. I'm just taking.
Okay. But to that point, right? And I don't want to go off on a super sidetrack here. That's why originally, when there was a review of a game, it was somebody who played video games and knew how to play that type of game.
Right.
Nowadays, you have this large swath of people who play games and review them, but they play it however they want, and then they base the review on how they played as opposed to what can be done in the game. Right?
Right.
Like, so if you get somebody that's, I just want to play this game, get the review over with. He busts through it, doesn't go through the side quest, doesn't level up enough, and then feels like he can't kill anybody, and then that becomes a negative part of the review, as opposed to somebody who's played RPGs and goes, well, if I go to this area early, I'm going to get my ass kicked. Why? Because that's how RPGs are fucking made, right? You know the ways that the game plays, right? This is why I'm aggravated with certain people in the reviews, because you can't use just well, it's his opinion, that's how it is. Yes, but did you play the game? Like, do you understand the game? Did you just run around with sword and shield and you had a good time and that was it? Did you figure out other things and what they did and talk about that as part of the review? Or you were just hacking and slashing trying to win?
Real quick, Steez McGee wants to know, does it come close to scratching the Skyrim itch? I can't answer that for you. If you're a person that loves Skyrim, like Sarge,
give me context, Steez.
Right?
Give me context.
It all depends on what type. Like, how many hours did you put into Skyrim? Did you put Skyrim normal hours in, or did you put Sarge hours where you're playing it 30 different times and you got 3,000, 4,000 hours into it? Right? There's a difference between someone playing Skyrim and playing it just the first time and going, I really enjoyed it. Is it got the itch? I think it does. I think it has the RPG itch, but at the same time, as Krebsy said earlier, right, something just feels off, right? It feels generic. And his example is like the lock picking is hold a button. Like they couldn't add a little mini game. And
why bother?
And in Skyrim, you have a little lockpick thing, right? And what people don't understand when we nitpick on stuff like this, and I agree 100% with what Krebsy's saying. It's
not nitpicking.
But what I'm saying,
many RPGs.
No, but what I'm saying is for Skyrim to have that lockpick, I said this example on my stream earlier. You have to go find a lockpick. If you come across a chest and you can't open it, it says you need a lockpick. You got to go explore to find a lockpick. And then when you have that one lockpick, you can use that lockpick 1,000 times if you don't break it. Okay? So you have to find a lockpick, and then if you find a door or locked door or chest, then you're using that mini game, and there's a risk-reward type of thing. Is if I don't know what I'm doing with this lockpick, I lose the lockpick, and I can't open this, and there could be something cool in this. Now it's, in Avowed, it's, you got to find a lockpick, and that lockpick is just, it opens everything. There's no failing it. It's just hold the button, it pops open the chest. It's just like then why even have a lockpick?
Why have a lock thing?
Right. Just let me open the chest at that point.
Mhm.
So with stuff like that, if you don't like stuff like that, then it's not going to scratch your itch, right? So I think it's fun, but I don't think it's fair to compare it to Skyrim, even though we're about to do, and that's what we're about to do. So let me go. That's what we've been playing. Let me go to the top stories, and then we'll get into the Avowed Skyrim comparison. All right. So El Dente says, well, some of the locks require more than just one lockpick, right? Because they're higher tier skills or whatever. You have to fine tune it, type of stuff. Like I miss stuff like that, right? So let's go with the one of the first things I want to talk about, which is the comparison. I did a comparison the other day where someone made a video of Skyrim versus Avowed, and now they made a video of Oblivion to Avowed. I don't have that video, but I am going to show you the Avowed to. I am going to show you the video of Avowed and Skyrim. Okay, we'll play this a little bit. This is not going to be.
I mean, I watched this. It's insulting to everybody, including people who've played both games. Like, I get it. All I'm going to say is, in defense of the devs who made this new product, I believe that the guys who made the new game, Avowed, probably, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I don't believe they have the same skill set as the guys who made Skyrim.
Well,
right? Now
they might, but maybe they didn't have the time to put into the game.
They're good, okay?
Right.
But if it's an engine thing, I'll agree. If it's an engine thing, it's probably what it is. You can only do certain things in the confines of the engine that you are using. So if you're going to take a 14-year-old game and say, look at all the things I can do in the Gamebryo engine, and then take a new game and say, look at all the things that they don't do in this game now. Once again, is every game on the same level as Skyrim, right? So I know what they're trying to say, that you're not supposed to compare all this shit to Skyrim because it's just the game.
Yeah,
but if I take it at face value, if I take it just as this particular game, even if I base it off games that were not that long ago, it's still below what I've gotten before. Is it a good game? Yes. Is it fun? Yes. Is the combat system good? Yes. I hear the story isn't that good. That's fine. It's just the game, right?
Here's a perfect example, right? Diablo 2 back in the day, people loved Diablo 2. They weren't making a sequel to Diablo 2. So what did Grinding Gear Games do? They made Path of Exile. Path of Exile were huge fans of Diablo 2. And they said, you know what? Here's Diablo standards. We're going to make a game, and we're going to bring it up to minimum of Diablo 2. And that's what they did. Right? So Path of Exile, because they're huge fans of that type of style of game, they're like, you know what? If we're going to make a game like Diablo, then we should probably meet it at the door as that's the game we're going to try to make to compete against. When you look at a game like this, I'm not saying all RPGs need to be like Skyrim, but 15 years later, you would think
it would be better.
They would open up at least to the bar.
It would be better than 14 years ago.
Or at the same level of it, right?
Okay, but once here we go. I'll come at this from another angle. Ready? Our team was put together 5 or 6 years ago. We finally started jiving together, right? We like working together.
Yep.
This is the first project that some of us have been on, and we sat in a room and we decided on a vision for the game we wanted to make, right? The game that we wanted to make, not games that we've seen in the past, just games that we want to make. We did the storyboards, we did the whiteboard, we talked about everything, we went through the whole thing, and this is the product, right? Now, in their eyes, they look at each other and go, great job. Everything we wanted to do, everything we discussed, everything we worked so hard for works. High five, everybody's good. Right? Now, we put it on the market, and everybody who's played RPGs for the last 25 years looks at it and goes, I don't know what the fuck this is. Right? Because your perspective of it is nowhere near the blood, sweat, and tears that they had done to put and make that game. Right? That's the difference. right? That's why I think I understand a little bit about what was that guy you went the developer that you did the video on?
The one that I just did,
Mark
Daria.
Mark Daria, right? Like I kind of understand where he's coming from. The division that the gamers and the devs have now is, as gamers, you guys are looking at a studio and you think that everybody in the studio are the same people that are in the studio from 20 years ago, right? You believe the name is the name and the magic is living inside that studio. Like the guys are immortal, right? It's still the 27-year-old
like
and the
Bethesda made the game. Like these unnamed people of Bethesda
right.
made the game, so Bethesda always lives on.
Right. You guys believe that these magical people live within the studio. Now it's 25 years later. You know damn well that it's not the same people.
Yeah,
it's just not, right? So you can't expect exactly what you're thinking about when you fast forward what level I was at before and what it should be now, because those people are now 20 something and 30 something and they don't have the experience that those guys had.
Right.
So,
which is fine, right? Again,
it's just the game, right?
Yeah, but you look at Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Just the game.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is out. It's an RPG. It's a smaller team than what other studios have. I think it's still around 150, 200 people, right? That game is the most detailed RPG, but it's like a life sim, basically, what that game is, right? Not to say all games have to be that way, but it's just like little details kind of just bring it out, you know what I mean? Where you're playing this game and you're like, that's sad. Maybe they could have done that. Does it ruin the game? I don't think it ruins the game in any way, shape, or form.
It's not about ruin.
I don't think it ruins the game.
Once again, you and
my expectations were
right. You and I both agree that we don't set the bar.
Yeah, they set the bar.
They set the bar.
Correct.
Right. So if you say it's an RPG or it's an action RPG, like once again, you labeled it, right? You're labeling it. Is it an action RPG? You go, no, it's RPG. Okay, cool, RPG. And then here goes the brain. I'm the old guy in the room. I have played over 50 RPGs. So now I'm going to cycle through my brain through all the RPGs that I've played, and now I'm going to play your game. And so my list of stuff from playing RPGs is different than the guy who's in chat now, who's 20-something, right? How many RPGs that
he might have not even played an RPG before.
That's correct. So now I'm much more judgmental based on what I know and the games that I played, as opposed to somebody else.
Correct.
However, you still called it an RPG, and you put yourself in the same category as all these others. So if you don't hit the bullet points on the other games that were done very well, in my monkey brain, I think to myself, didn't you guys look at all the games that did well, who scored well, who got game of the year, how the stories, like, didn't you guys play any of them? Like, How do you guys spend 6 years making a game with your vision, your stuff, and you don't hit any points that other games have done well? That's why we judge it like that. That's why we're seen as being too judgmental.
In the video that I was playing, they show some things like he shoots the arrow against certain materials in the game, right? And when he shoots it, it sticks into some and bounces off of one thing. And you look at that and go, why does it sound the same on wood and concrete or stone? But then when it hits the ball, the cannonball, it bounces off and ricochets. And at that point, I look at that and go, most people would never, 99.9% of the people would never even realize that's happening, okay? But when I look at that, because I've played so many games, I look at it as they ran out of time. They looked at it, they made this and said, yeah, we're going to have it where, it sticks into the wood, it sounds like the wood, you hit off it, it bounces off the stone, it bounces off this, and they went, we don't have time for that. We have to cut some things, forget about things, let's put it on the back burner, and I think that's where it comes down to. So when you do certain things in this game where you interact with the NPCs in town, they're just like, let's just worry about the people that are giving quests, the quest givers. Let's only worry about this stuff.
But that's how I would analyze it. Right?
Correct.
If the sound effect's different for certain things and not others, then you ran out of time.
Right. So like there's a puddle in the water, you can shoot your arrows and it doesn't affect the water at all. But there's puddles out in the world that if you shoot an arrow into, it does the ripple effect. And you're like, well, why does it do the ripple effect there and interact with the water there, but doesn't interact with the water over here? So I would just look at that as they were going to go do it, but they ran out of time and they had to keep it below a certain budget. And this is why they did what they did, which is fine. my whole thing is, if you're going to make something,
we're noticing it.
Right. So the people in the town you'll notice, because like I said, in Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim, they like live. The NPCs are walking around, they're going to work, they're going back to their house to go to sleep. They have like a pattern. They're not just going, right? They're not just going back and forth in the spot that they're doing. These guys do nothing. And it is like a movie set. Like you look at it and go, action. Right, and then they start moving, and then you come in and like, hey, the player's coming through. Activate as you walk through, type of thing. So it feels like a movie studio type of thing. Real quick.
So then, but if I look at it that way, I don't consider it a AAA game.
Correct.
I consider it a AA game.
Right.
Or an A game. It's not on the same level.
Eric says it may not be fair for us to judge it on the way that they're selling it to us, a very specific way. Sure, I mean, Mo brought it up earlier in the morning stream. He said, to be fair, these are the people that made Pillars of Eternity. And I said, cool, right? And this is a offshoot of the Pillars of Eternity game. It's the first person RPG of this for that realm. But these are the same people that made Outer Worlds. These are the same people, not same people, same company that made Outer Worlds. This is the same company that made Fallout New Vegas. This is the same company that made other RPGs that were more flushed out, that were more RPG elements in their game compared to what this is.
Right there. Dupless? No. That's the issue. Right. They did not.
The company made in Vegas. The people did
Those
not.
people did not.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's what I just... Did you just get back online? Because that's exactly what I was talking about before. It's not the same people.
Yeah. Dupla's is like, these are the people that made Vegas, but it's not. It's the company that made Vegas, but it's not the same people that made New Vegas.
I want to say the same thing. I want to agree with Dupla's 1,000%. Where are those people? Well, they retired. Right? They retired.
That's also another true point. Eric says, remember, between the first vision of Avowed and now they changed directions with the directors, I believe. Right. And you can tell they went a different direction. And look, most of the people are never going to notice this stuff. But the people that do notice it doesn't negate what they think, because we've seen their other games before.
Right, we've seen. But okay, now let's flip this over. Let's pick a bunch of gamers who just have disposable income and play video games. You read the articles, you watch the trailers, you think, this looks like a fun game, and they play it. But once again, by achievement lists or by Steam lists or whatever list you want to look at, we find out that these people play the game for 3 hours. They spent $50, $60 on the game, and then they just put the game in the closet and never play it again. Right? That's, and I don't want to insult anyone in this room, that's the average gamer.
Right?
Disposable income. I buy something that interests me. I kind of play it. It hooks me or it doesn't. And I just put it down. I don't finish it. I don't talk about it. I don't give a shit about it. That's it. Right? The room that we are in are for elite people. You consider yourself a gamer. I've been playing games since I was a kid, right? That's my thing, right? I don't sport bet. I don't fucking go to the movies all the time. Like, I play video games. That's my hobby.
Right.
So do I look at things more critically? Yes. Am I much more harder on things? Yeah, because I've seen everything, right? So am I bitter for certain things? Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
Because I would think that if you want to be at the studio that wants to make a game that people want to play and talk about and play it years down the road, then you would at least do the research and play the games of the past that were all amazing, and then say to yourselves, well, how can we make something kind of like that and go from there and use our vision? But it's like they just walk into a blank room. They don't know anything about games, and someone told them, make an RPG, and they went, all right, I got 5 years. Let's see what we can come up with. Like, I don't understand that at all.
Here's an example, right? Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. Would people be upset if Grand Theft Auto 6 came out and it did less than Grand Theft Auto 5, right? Where the NPCs weren't as detailed as Grand Theft Auto 5, and the way they acted in the game, and the cars didn't feel the same. They actually were shittier than they were in Grand Theft Auto 5, right? If Grand Theft Auto 6 came out at a lesser bar set than Grand Theft Auto 5, people would be pissed to be like, you set the bar, and every Grand Theft Auto since the last Grand Theft Auto was better and better and better.
In some way, not across the board. In some way, it was better, like bigger map, better cars, more guns, whatever it was. If Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and it's less than Grand Theft Auto 5,
You don't tell me someone's gonna be like, "Oh, this is fine." No, they'll be like, "This is bullshit. Why are you charging more money for less of a game?" You see what I'm saying?
But that's why I told you, and I don't want to go down.
Sure, people will still buy it, El Nini, but that's not the point. The point is, it's still a lesser value if they did that.
But this is why I keep telling you. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is the pinnacle because you had 3 guys, intertwined stories. It was fucking crazy. It was crazy for you to not only be three different people, but actually move around and then decide to leave them at any moment. And you would zoom out and zoom in on somebody else. And they were wandering around the city. That was unheard of. It was like watching a television show and like the guy just coming in. Where is he in his life right now? Like you just come zooming in and now you're the character. That's crazy, right? That was never been done before. That was nuts, right? So do I believe that you're going to top that with a 2-player thing? And this is why I'm still waiting, and I'm hopeful. I'm waiting for the hook. They keep talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, but nobody's talked about the hook. What's the hook? The huge map?
Miami.
I don't give a shit about the huge map. Okay. Like, tell me it's co-op. Like, if you tell me it's co-op, now you got a hook. Like, that to me is what the hook should be, right? It's a Bonnie and Clyde thing, and it's co-op. And they're just waiting to drop the bomb. Like, I'm hopeful for something like that. Because otherwise, if it's just a story of these 2 people, then that's below what everything else is in 5, correct? Right. 5 is a complicated storyline between 3 different people. It's crazy. And you're going to tell me this is going to top that? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Waterbear says the goal for gaming companies now is to do the least to make the most money. They cut out so many corners of the game nowadays. It feels like the gaming world basically is restarting itself.
El Nini, it's going to be pretty though, right? That's the matters most to everybody in this room, right? As long as GTA 6 is pretty, right?
Right. Also, I agree with the 2 of you. And also speaking about the game, I feel that it's okay for video game, but compare it to greats that came before, falls very short, to put it nicely. But it's not even the greats, right? It's just like, obviously even the journals say this. Don't expect games to be like Baldur's Gate 3, right? That was the niche. When Baldur's Gate 3 came out, they're like, don't expect any other games to be like Baldur's Gate 3. Even though Baldur's Gate 3 didn't go above and beyond anything else, they just hit the mark of other RPGs in the past in current day, which made them look like they were like Jesus Christ came back from the death, right? Because they made a game like it was 15 years ago in this current day and age. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. As Sarge said earlier, most people don't know it because they never played those games back then. This is their first thing. They're like, oh my God, Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. Baldur's Gate 3 is on par with the games that came out 15 years ago, which today looks amazing because everything else is so much lower. Yeah. That's what's happening in the gaming industry.
Yeah, but but remember, anytime the media comes out and says it directly to your face, it's the opposite. They came out directly to our face and told us not to expect all games to be like this because they were scared. The gaming industry was scared shitless because that means that if you have a quality management and you have good people working for you and you know the vision, you can accomplish what you set out to do, which is Baldur's Gate 3. Right. So everybody else who can't hit the mark has got management problems, employee problems, or money problems, or all 3. Right?
Yeah,
they've got.
We hear it all the time,
and we thought that, and we just wait for them to come out, and then all the stories come out a month or 2 after. Oh, money problems, reshoots, right? New director, new executive producer. Like, yeah, we know. We can tell by looking at the fucking game. You guys have problems.
Look, Larry and Studio said it themselves. All we did was make a game, right?
Yes.
Did you hear that they had problems? Did you hear that they redirected it? Did you hear that they did anything else? No. They had a vision. They made a game. They sold the game. Everybody else, it's delayed. 7 years, 5 years, 4 reboots, right? They don't know what they're doing. There's so many problems with upper management across the board, across the industry. They can't keep employees for more than 18 months. They can't get directors to stay.
Contract workers. They're doing contract workers.
Right. Contract workers, inexperienced people that are getting jobs they're not supposed to get because they didn't do anything in the industry before. It's like who they knew, right? Daria even said in his video yesterday, hypothetically, the CEO's nephew who screwed up the script. You know what I mean? It's like,
bro, that statement was so specific. I'm like,
so specific.
Nobody talks that way unless that shit went down.
It went 100% went down.
100%. That's what happened.
Yeah. All right. Next story I want to talk about. Stealth posted this in it was Stealth or Krebsy, I forget who it was, right? In our Discord. They're gonna get my hopes up here, Sarge. Okay, because they showed a picture.
They bait you with something.
They showed me a picture of Transformers and said that Hasbro is working with Saber Interactive, right? So Space Marines 2 developer is making a game based on tentpole Hasbro IP. Well, a tentpole Hasbro IP is down to 3 of them, in my opinion, right? It's like a Dungeons and Dragons. It's a Transformers, right? It's Magic. It would be great if it was Transformers, okay? So will it be D&D? Will it be Magic? Will it be Transformers? Okay. Hasbro, the toy company, owns Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Transformers, and much more. Has announced that it's making a AAA video game with Saber Interactive. I love Saber Interactive. They make great games. They made Space Marines 2. They make Snow Runners. They make a lot of good games. Okay. Lots of detail. They do good stuff. Okay. The news comes straight from Hasbro CEO Chris Cox during an earnings call on Tuesday. Cox said that the game would be based on one of Hasbro's tentpole IPs. He says, quote, "We have many new digital collaborations in the works, and I'm especially excited to announce this one today." Being a personal fan of many of the team games, Cox said Hasbro and Saber Interactive will be collaborating on all new video game partnership developed by the team behind 2024's mega hit Warhammer 40K. Space Marines 2 combined high-octane single-player action and amazing multiplayer with Saber's Swarm tech, and this new AAA based is out for tentpole IPs is sure to be a hit. Now, we don't know what it is. Now, I just want to kind of hypothetically... I don't want to get my hopes up, Sarge. I feel like that. I posted in my Discord. I feel like the old lady from Titanic. I've been waiting 84 years for a good, for a Transformers game. If you give me Space Marines 2, but with Transformers, I would be okay with that. Okay?
I'll say this right now. Right? Saber. Saber. Which
Saber. Like
saber.
A
like a lightsaber. Right.
No.
Right.
Like a saber tooth.
Oh, Saber. Same thing. This is spelled the same. Right. So Saber can make the games that you love because you just played them. You know what they know they're good, right? But your daddy is Hasbro, right? So you want to make Space Marine 2 but Transformers, and you pitch it, and they say great. And now I'll be retired by the time this game comes out.
Right.
Okay. Then Saber will be in the middle of development, show it to them, and they'll be like, "Well, it's a live service. Does it have a battle royale?" Like they go through this list of bullshit and shit on Saber's vision for whatever it is. If you believe Hasbro is going to allow them to make a game without interference, you're dreaming. You're dreaming.
Well, here's my question, Sarge. We're at episode 429.
520.
I was gonna say we're still gonna be streaming.
I'll be
what? How many years?
Gray.
How many years down the road is this game coming out when we finally see?
I'll be retired. I'll be retired. I seriously will be retired.
5 years? Do you think 5 more years? Bro. They just announced it. Do you think it's already in production, or do you think that
Saber can take the last 6 canceled games, pick any of them, and just fix them and release them? They don't even have to start over. They got guys that already have product just sitting, waiting, all these assets of these guys who just dump these fucking games. Pick one and fix it, right?
Yeah.
Just pick it and fix it. If you want to start over, first of all, why don't you just tell us it's going to be one of the tent poles of Hasbro? Well, Hasbro's got a lot of bullshit, right? So what's the tent pole of Hasbro? Someone tell me. G.I. Joe, Transformers. What else? What other bullshit game do they have, right? What else?
I don't know off the top of my head.
What else they're gonna make that you're gonna make any money on?
Saber's also working on KOTOR, another game that they forgot was now this. It's coming anytime soon. Yeah, 2031, right? We'll be in episode close. I think what Dark Taco's saying 640 maybe.
I will not hold my breath.
I'm sorry. Say again.
All I heard was Hasbro saw that a small studio could make a big game and do well. That's the ringing in their ears. Small studio, made a lot of money. Everyone liked it. Buy them. Get them on contract, right? This get them on the phone, right? We got to get a piece of that, right? That's what they're doing. So now you believe Saber's going to have free reign to do what they want to release a game.
Right. They have free reign, but
Right. I believe you. Once again, nothing else matters. The game speaks for itself. Period.
I would be excited, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, right? I mean, Hasbro had a AAA game
My Little
with
Pony.
Transformers
Awesome.
Reactivate coming out, and they fucking canceled
It'll
it.
be the greatest horse graphics since Red Dead Redemption 2's
Right?
Horse Balls.
Oh, My Little Pony, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great.
They literally had Transformers Reactivate. It was at the finish line. They canceled it. I can't imagine Hasbro can't screw this up.
Imagine getting that close to the finish line and then canceling it.
Yeah.
And you believe from scratch right now Saber's going to come out a game with them.
Look, I hope they come out and it's a fantastic game. I like what Fifth Horseman said. He said Snow Runners mixed with Space Marines 2.
It shall rain wine, and I shall be blessed.
He says Snow Runners mixed with Space Marines 2 equals Transformers. I mean, I would take it. I would take it.
Well, let's be honest. It needs to make as much money as possible. So what else would make money? Transformers is probably at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think Transformers would make more money than Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, they destroyed Dungeons and Dragons, so
yeah.
Like Baldur's Gate 3 is the last bastion of D&D.
The next thing I want to talk about, Sarge, you're a big James Bond fan.
I was.
Okay. Right. Jeff Bezos asks who should be the next James Bond after franchise producers relinquish creative control. Okay.
My first question is, why would you get rid of creative control?
I don't know. Let's read. Let's see what they say. Okay. It says creative control for the decade-spanning series of films adapting by Ian Fleming's books previously rested on Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, for those whose father produced the first Bond film, Dr. No, back in 1962. His daughter and stepson will remain as part of the franchise moving forward, but will no longer have a veto power over the future direction of the new films. Why? Do these people not know? They got to hold on to that as best they can. They sold out. Sold out. Someone wrote them a check.
They didn't sell out.
They sold out.
I didn't watch the last James Bond movie for multiple reasons, right? So whatever they did in that movie caused them to get rid of it creatively. Imagine that. Imagine having the James Bond IP, and after the last movie, you don't want any more creative control over it. Imagine that.
Look, right here, it says in the top part, I skipped over this. Amazon now has full creative control over the blockbuster spy series after hashing out a deal with the longtime producers. They sold out. Jeff Bezos said, how much do you want? Because Jeff Bezos is Thanos, okay, in IP market, right? He's like, I want Lord of the Rings. He's got the stone in his thing. He's like, I want the James Bond. And now he's got the James Bond one going in. He's just collecting major IPs and fucking them up left and right, okay? Because he's just a rich dude that has so much money. And he's like, well, I'm a dork and I like these things and I can buy it, so I'm going to buy it. And that's what he's doing, right? He bought it out.
James Bond represented so many things over the years. You know, I get it's chauvinistic, and I get there's a little bit of women hating in it, and that's just how it was back then. That's just how it was.
The dude is making a clock in the middle of the desert, okay, in Texas, that rings once every 100 years. Okay, he's making a $20 million clock because he can.
I get it, but at the same time, if Jeff Bezos is buying the franchise for James Bond and then putting out a article asking people who the next James Bond should be, I already have questions. Like, you don't know, you were going to buy it.
That's my point.
You don't know who you were going to pick.
Who do you think should run? I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Right?
I mean, I think we did it. I think we did it in chat a while back.
Peter Dinklage. That's who should be the next James Bond.
Some people in chat, we did it way back, that came up with some good names for who the names James Bond should be. I think we should do that again just to get a refresher. Anybody that knows any actors that are good for James Bond, because I'm out of the loop, right? If you know any people that should be James Bond,
Henry Cavill.
Put it in
Henry
Discord.
Cavill's my pick for James Bond. He actually ran for James Bond, but they gave it to what's his name? Daniel Craig the last time, right? But I don't think they'll give it to Henry Cavill. Amazon got the creative control deal with the 40K show, and Cavill is supposed to be attached to it. If they didn't know, I knew that.
He's been fighting the whole thing for.
He's actually starring in the show as well. Yeah,
he's been fighting it because they want to do shit that's not in the universe. They want to keep changing shit.
Idris Elba, I think, would actually be pretty good. As I think you have to have a British guy. You got to have a British guy be James Bond.
I mean, or at least someone who could fake it
someone that can speak, like talk
Right.
British, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody who can
actors,
sing it.
let the actors act. Okay, I don't
Right,
care if they
right.
don't
Let 'em
actually
act.
speak right British, but they can. I mean, British actors speak it with no accent all the time, right? So just hire someone, but the character itself, James Bond, needs to be a British guy.
I mean, James Bond is so iconic. It spans multiple generations, man. It's like I understand the hatred on it. They want to keep trying to modernize James Bond, but it's not that, right? James Bond, the series of books is all meant to be during the Cold War. They've modified a lot of the stories and the movies throughout the years to fit with present day stuff, but it's meant to be those stories about the Cold War between the East and the West from back in the day. Like that's the whole mystique about it. That's why there's the women aren't a big thing inside the spy routine, because you weren't, right? I understand you want to keep putting a female assassin in there. That's really cool. I get it, but
You know
that's
who they're
just
gonna
not
pick?
what it was.
I know who they're gonna pick. You ready? Fucking Pedro Pascal. That's who they're gonna pick.
If Pedro Pascal's the new
James Bond will be Pedro Pascal. I swear to
will
God.
break his kneecaps.
I swear to God.
He'll never do it. He'll never do a stunt again. Like, no.
yeah, Pedro is
No.
gonna be a James Bond, and he won't speak with a British accent at all. He'll
Yeah,
just be
Pedro Pascal.
he'll just be Pedro Pascal.
It'll be
that's
like
what it's
him in
gonna
that movie with what's his face?
be. With Nicolas Cage.
This look at Nicolas Cage. Where
Yeah, I know
he,
which
plays,
way.
he plays himself.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's gonna be.
Tom
Or Ryan Reynolds. It'll be Ryan Reynolds and Pedro Pascal as a dual role of James Bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds cannot be James Bond either. He typecasted himself. It's not Tom Holland, Duplass. Jesus Christ, it's not Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Oh, you want Spider-Man? No, get out of here. He's too short to be James Bond. He's like a child.
Cynthia Erivo. I gotta look that one up. I don't think that one.
Isn't that the girl from no, that's the girl from
I gotta look that one up.
from Wicked, right? That's who it is, Cynthia?
Oh God, is it not her? Is it? Is that who it is, Krebsy?
Yeah. El Nini says Elliot Page. Yeah.
Oh God,
you know
no.
You know who it could
God,
be?
please.
No. Here's the next James Bond. Marky Mark. Yeah. Mark
Wahlberg?
Wahlberg.
No. I think the guy who plays Reacher could do it, but he's too big.
Oh, he would actually be really good. I want
He's
him.
huge.
He wants to play the role of
Of what?
Batman. Of Batman.
Ooh,
He would be a badass.
he's a
Batman.
monster.
Yeah. He
What's
would
his
be a
name? I
badass
don't remember
Batman.
his name. I don't remember his name. What's his name?
I forget his name. He played Aquaman in the Smallville show back in the day.
I think I watch Reacher. That's the only show I ever watch on TV now.
Yeah, Reacher wants Batman.
Prime.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Reacher season 3 just came out. We got to watch it this weekend, I think, a little bit.
I'm so far behind though. I didn't start watching it because I thought people kept talking about the movies. I didn't know there was a series.
Yeah,
And
what's
then I
Reacher? What's
started
the
watching.
actor for Reacher? The actor's name for Reacher. I forget his name. Travis would know it.
Come on,
He's a
Rachie.
fan.
Come on, man. You're
Daisy
killing me.
Ridley should do 007.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me.
Yeah. And she looks into the camera. She looks in the camera, Ray, and says, "I am a Bond." Like she says, Skywalker.
I am Bond.
I am Bond. Yeah. Like, son of a bitch. Yeah. All right.
That's
the
what I'm
next
saying,
thing.
Robert. He's just too big, right? He's a monster.
He can slim
Like,
down.
like let's put it this way: if he plays Batman, he can't hide the fact that he's Batman.
Alan Ritchson. Thank you very much, Lazy.
Right? Thanks, Lazy. He can't hide that he's Batman. Like
Right,
it's almost
right.
almost as
Hey,
bad as Clark
it's-
Kent with glasses or no
Yes,
glasses.
yeah, it's like
right?
Superman's like buff with the glasses.
like
Like,
Alan
that,
comes-
that guy looks like somebody I know.
Like
Yeah.
I'm a billionaire. I'm huge, and then I'm huge with a fucking Batman mask on. Like nobody knows it's me.
Hey, does anyone ever tell you look like Batman? No, I've never heard that before.
I've never
Yeah.
heard that before. It's just so worse. I mean, worse.
Yeah. He combs his part on the left side instead of the right side. They'll never know. They'll never know.
Yeah, the
Gabriel, he's a little big. He's a little big to play 007
Right.
or Batman.
Right, Robert. He wouldn't be able to fit in the tux. Right?
I'm a buff billionaire and only buff
He's the only
guy
guy
in
in the
Gotham.
city. Right.
Right,
He's
he's the
in
only
city with
guy
a
that looks
52
exact-
long. He's got a 52 long suit. Like no one else has got that.
Yeah, they would never know. All right, let's go to the next story. The next story is First Descendant. Okay, I like the First Descendant. I played it for like 40, 50 hours. Okay, well, It's First Descendant publisher warns game is officially performing below expectations. What the fuck does that mean, Sarge?
What is that? Why now?
Right, 6 months came out July, right? July of last year.
So it's underperforming now, or was it underperforming?
It's
then?
a free-to-play game. It's a free-to-play game.
So how is it underperforming? It's a free-to-play game. You mean the engagement? The engagement's low. That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah, so here we go. It says the First Descendant has been a lot of fun since it launched in July of 2024. Developers have done a good job listening to the fans and continually updating the game. However, despite the excellent support and communication, the player count has dropped by a whopping 95%.
Ooh. Can I answer the question?
I wish I had a...
Can I answer the question?
Like a cricket sound. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. The reason why it's dropped 95% is because there are other fucking games to play. I don't understand why this is so difficult. How long do you think we're going to play your fucking game for?
Sarge is yelling into the microphone.
I don't understand. I don't get it, man. There's not an infinite amount of people, right? There's a certain pool of people that will play that type of game. Then other games come out and they go play those games. Do you think that when they go to play the other game, they go, oh man, I can't wait to get back to the game I've been playing for 3 months? Like, no, bro.
Right.
They're on to a different game.
There's so many games like that you can play over and over and over that they don't play it. So here it says in the quarter, it says that Nexon shared its quarter four full year 2024 earning report on February 13th. The discussion of the state, every IP they've involved in with was a good year for Nexon as they delivered record-breaking full-year revenue. Okay, so they had a record-breaking year, Sarge, up 5% year over year, but as reports based, 1% on a constant currency basis. Okay, so they had a record-breaking year, but the player base is leaving 95% of that game, so they're making their money elsewhere in the company.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Congratulations, you broke the record. Now you're getting.
It says we can't see the player count for PlayStation or Xbox, but the decline on Steam and undoubtedly or undeniable thanks to Steam charts, Valve database shows that the game player retention on Steam launched at 264,000, dropped to 63,000 in August, and now down to 15,000 in November. And as of February 2025, it's currently hovering at 11,000, which
that sounds like movie numbers. That sounds like movie numbers.
Well, I have to say, I mean, that's just 6,000 less than Avowed right now, which is number one on Steam.
Number one.
Right? Number one on Steam is Avowed. They have 11,000. They have 17,000. Number one, successful, 11,000, below expectations.
Below expectations.
That's right.
Yeah. You see how the math works, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's
I mean, obviously, you don't know what the budget was.
Bad
like
as
that,
the guy writing the article. 11,000 is good here. 17,000 is horrible. Like that. Okay. Whatever you guys say. I believe you, media. I believe you know what you're talking about. All it means is it's time to launch a different game. That's it.
Y'all are clutching prudes that don't like the First Descendant and can't handle a little skin. I mean, I played it, I beat it, and I stopped playing because I was like, I'm good.
I'm good.
Because the drop rate was so horrendous that they made me stop playing the game because they refused to give me the drop that I wanted.
But let's
20 hours of grinding to get this one fucking thing and it wouldn't drop. I was like, I'm good.
So
I'm good.
we're not gonna ignore the elephant in the room where First Descendant basically is just Destiny, right? We're not gonna ignore that.
It's a lesser Destiny because it's a the loop is bad in the First Descendant. It's shallow.
Yeah,
right. It's a wide open ocean, but it's a lake.
And Mo just proved that he's the 1%er who still plays the game.
Well, that proves that the game is losing everybody because Mo's still playing it. Yeah.
No, it just means that Mo he's in the small percentage of people who are still playing. Other people move on.
Of course, no. There's always going to be people that like the game, but the game itself is shallow compared to other games like a Warframe, like a Destiny. Right? That's just what it is. Now, don't get me wrong. The character models and stuff are fucking smoking. Okay, but that's not going to carry you all the way to the bank.
But because I'm looking at Bunny's ass the whole time, doesn't mean I want to play it for a year and a half.
Correct.
Because even ass gets tired after a while.
Let's look at it this way. Let's say Destiny never came out. Okay, Destiny never came out, and the First Descendant took its place. I don't know what's happening with my computer. All of a sudden, something opened up, and now it's freaking out. Yeah, something in the background's happening.
Something updated. I mean, Robert, you don't want to look at Bunny's. That's all I played is Bunny. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I thought there was only one character in the game. I played Bunny.
Yeah. So at the if First Descendant came out the time that Destiny came out, we would have a conversation of if Destiny launched when First Descendant came out, you'd be like, First Descendant is the dominated game and Destiny's just not pulling its weight because First Descendant's been out all these years, right? Type of stuff, right? But we're not in that situation. We're in Destiny was here first. First Descendant came out. It's trying to be what Destiny was, but a free-to-play game. It's fun. I like it. I thought it was great. I put over 60 hours into the game. It's just shallow. Hence why 95% of the population left. Because they think the exact same thing. They're like, yeah, it's fun, but it's kind of getting boring, stale.
But it's free to play, bro. Why stop playing? It's free. You guys can just jump in and play when you want, right?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that a fun game that's free to play, that I can play whenever I want, 95% of the people who tried it said, I'm good. I'm going to go play something else now.
Right. I'm going to play something else. I played it. It was fun.
Great.
Right. I forget who it was. Someone in our chat bought all the skins and stopped playing right after he bought all the skins, right? Gave him like $100, walked away.
I mean, I will say it again. Video gaming as a hobby is disposable income. You're never going to be able to tell somebody that the money they spent was spent incorrectly because it's something you're doing for entertainment purposes. The battle always is the opinions of the people who think a game is good or bad or indifferent. I think a game would be fun that you might hate, right? The conversation's two different things always. We like the game, we don't like the game because we're gamers, we play games. But the game was the game successful in the market? You can love a game, but it's a piece of shit in the market, right? It happens. You love the game, you think it's amazing. It hits all the things for you, but marketability of the game was garbage and it died.
Yeah,
right.
That's the way it goes.
Two separate conversations. Conversations.
Let's move on because we have a couple of stories I want to get through before we stop in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. So, real quick, Xbox PlayStation executive says that they weren't told they had to make a live service game, but they were told that you would have a better chance of getting the project approved if you did make a live service game. Sarge.
Once again, that's not a title of an article. That's an actual quote in the article. You can name the article something else. Please, for the love of God, use an AI program that knows about journalism or something. I don't understand why that's a title of an article.
All right. Well, the story is that Sony didn't tell people to make a live service game, but they told them that if you make a live service game, you have a better approval to make that game. So obviously, if you're making a game, and let's look at it in a Suicide Squad sense.
We know what they said, bro.
Right?
We know what they said.
Again, Suicide Squad wasn't just a Sony game.
You don't have to. You don't have
right,
to.
You don't have to make a live service game.
But the 20% bonus that you might receive may be dependent on you making a live service.
But we would give you an extra money for your game if it was a live service game for the potential of, and they're like, oh, okay, well, that's what I'll do. Hence why they put 60% of their time, budget, or whatever for the studios inside of PlayStation towards live service game.
Give me the name give me the name of this guy who wrote this article.
The guy who wrote the article is Mark Warren. Yeah, Sarge is writing down a list. Salty said,
Mark Warren.
Write them down, Sarge.
Mark Warren.
Write them down.
Okay. This is for which article, though? This is for which game?
This is for ex-PlayStation executive says studio aren't forced into live service stuff. They just feel it gives them a better chance of getting a project approved and supported.
Article. Yeah, okay. Thanks for reminding me, Salty. I appreciate
it. Right. So obviously there's a thing going on. Not with just this studio, with this company, with other companies as well, right? Rocksteady and the upper echelon of the company was like, yeah, we like Suicide Squad, but we'll support it if it does live service instead. And they're like, oh, we don't really want to make a live service. Well, I guess you're not getting that extra $20 million then, right?
Out of my hands.
I don't know. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening in the industry. Then we have this we have to watch, Sarge, because I don't know if we can watch the whole thing, but this is some next level quantum computing type of stuff here. Okay, I want to bring this up.
Or is this like high-tech stuff?
High-tech stuff.
Is this on the same level of that thing we talked about with data transfer? What they want to do for the cloud?
Yeah, this is going to be even, I think, farther than that, right? This is quantum computing. Okay, so let's play this.
What would the world look like with a computer that could accurately model the laws of nature? That's the promise of quantum computing.
Oh, hold on,
but there have
sorry.
always been limitations.
Oh yeah, it's 1.5.
Now is one of our longest running research projects. Our team at Microsoft has been able to take a subatomic particle that has only been theorized until now, and not only observe it, but control it, creating an entirely new material and a new architecture for quantum computing.
Quantum computing, Sarge.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
You know what's going to happen. This is above my pay grade. This is way too far.
Well, I know before she starts talking.
Yeah, I gotta put my glasses on.
You gotta nerd up.
I gotta nerd it up.
Okay, so wait. If this is the same kind of conversation they had from like a year or so ago, they're gonna talk about how they need to find another state of matter in order for their computer to work. Right. So like your brain's about to explode. Right. So you know that there's solids. You know that there's liquids,
but there's gas.
And you know there's gas, right?
Right.
So those are the three states of matter. But they have to invent a new state of matter in order for this computer to work.
Oh, you know what I just realized, Sarge? Putting these glasses on, I need to do an entrance like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where you have to go like, and then now I have my glasses on because I've turned into
a big lightning bolt.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so let's continue.
One that can scale to millions of qubits on a single chip.
This is not a work of science. It's a work of science and art.
I gotta be honest, some of these ideas are a little science fiction sounding.
It will solve problems unsolvable by the combined power of all the world's compute today, and promises to revolutionize fields such as medicine, material science, and our understanding of the natural world. Our first quantum processor based on this architecture is the Majorana 1.
That's what I'm saying, Dupless. They named it marijuana, but they
not
call
marijuana, dude.
They called it Majorana.
It's Majorana. Majorana. Majorana is fine. Look at it.
They were on some marijuana when they came up with this stuff.
Ridiculous. Who owns the marijuana now?
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with puzzles and challenges and a mixture of mathematics and computers. And so when I learned that there was this type of computer that didn't exist yet, but could solve problems that we couldn't solve with our digital, all of the computers we had, I was just fascinated. I wanted to learn, well, how can I help that computer be built?
Over the years, I ran into problems that I could not solve on the most powerful computers. But then over time, I realized, hey, I could solve that if I had a quantum computer. A laptop can solve a problem of 10 electrons. A supercomputer can solve a problem of 20 electrons.
Sounds like Albert Einstein.
Yeah,
but no classical computer in the world can exactly solve the behavior of 30 or 40 or 50 electrons.
The number 30, 40, 50 electrons, those numbers are seemingly small, but require up to lifetime in the universe timescales to solve with all of the world's computers operating together. That's until you have a scaled quantum computer that can solve these problems efficiently.
These calculations are so complicated that then
they're so complicated, Sarge. We had to put our glasses on to understand what the hell they're talking about.
if the classical computer was as big as this entire planet, it would still not be able to compute it, just to give you a construct of scale. And a quantum computer can do it, and can do it very, very well.
At the core of a quantum computer are these qubits. Qubits are like our classical bits, right? These are essentially zeros and ones in a transistor.
I like that she's talking down to me so I can understand what the hell's going on.
And we need the analog
What's that?
I have no problem working underneath a woman.
of that in quantum computing. The analog is a qubit, a quantum bit, that serves as that core information unit. It's where we store the information and then we process on those qubits to create.
Dupless, you think that's a green screen? That's not a green screen, by the way. That's just the way it's lit.
Let her talk. I want to hear
computation and ultimately, get solutions back out. Now, there's many different ways, right, to create a qubit. The reason quantum computing has been so slow to progress is that the industry has been struggling with problems making qubits
like you can see her reflection in the glass. I'm just saying.
It's reliable and resistant to noise. Progress has been incremental.
The challenge is qubits are actually pretty delicate in general, so you need underlying qubits that are really stable. But you don't want that to come at a cost. because you don't want your underlying qubits to be really big. That's one way to make them more stable is have them really big. But if they're really big and you're still going to need many of them, then how are you going to fit them all into your system? You don't want to deal with something the size of a warehouse. Then the second thing is you don't want the qubits end up being slow, right? Because if the price you pay for getting something stable is you have to go really slowly.
That's not what they want you to think. That's what's actually happening. I literally made thousands of videos like this in the industry. They're not on a green screen.
Then a computation that might take you a month ends up taking you a decade, and then it's not useful. People in the early days of computation used vacuum tubes, and then that technology, actually you could build very good computers with it, and then the transistor was invented, and the earliest transistors weren't necessarily that great, but it became clearer over time as the transistor developed and the integrated circuit developed that this was going to be the technology of the future.
Chat, I hope you guys are taking notes, because there will be a test written, okay, at the end of this.
In that spirit that the first generation of qubits may not be what gets us to the next stage where we can really solve the kind of problems I was mentioning that are really important. And so we might need to invent a material and therefore a quantum processing unit that has the right properties. So for us, we want something that has some built-in level of error protection. And a lot of those ideas actually were explored in the context of software, of quantum error correcting codes, but you can actually build a lot of those ideas into hardware.
So the way you design that qubit matters. We see
You need ocean, Sarge. This is the way you build it. You need ocean.
the states of matter every day. Solids keep their shape, liquids vary but keep their volume, gases expand to fill the space they're in, all defined ultimately by how their atoms behave. But what if there were more? What if, under the right conditions, you could engineer more? States that have only ever been theorized, that would change how subatomic particles actually behave?
So wait a minute. They haven't made anything yet?
No, but they're working towards it.
This is a hypothetical that they can make it.
It's still interesting.
I mean, I know it's interesting. I'm just saying, I thought maybe they would show us something.
100 years ago, mathematicians predicted one
Oh, look, there it is. It's
They named after the marijuana guy.
Marijuana. There you go.
such new state of matter, the topological state.
You know who he looks like? Real quick. Sorry. He looks like the guy that played on Saturday Night Live. That guy?
Not Catan. No, the other guy. No, the other guy.
Which guy?
It's
Oh, no, yeah, it's not Catan. It's he plays the weird. He plays that awkward guy like that he plays. I forget what the guy's name is.
He actually
Chris something, isn't it?
He looks like the younger actor that played one of the villains from James Bond. From Skyfall. From Skyfall, the villain in Skyfall. He looks like the younger version of him.
Oh, yeah, Bardot.
Yeah, he looks like a young Bardot.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, look at that. That's Bardot.
Did one such new state
Pull up
of matter,
Bardot, put it next to him.
the topological
I'm just
state.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
And since then, researchers have been looking for a very specific, very useful quasi-particle within it, the Majorana particle. Last
We're going to blow
year,
ourselves up.
we were able to observe it for the first time. And this year, we're able to control it and use its
This sounds wrong, right?
We're going to blow ourselves up.
We're going to blow.
We're going to blow ourselves up.
This is why we were in a different timeline for the last 10 years.
unique properties to build a topoconductor, a new type of semiconductor that operates also as a superconductor. With this material, we can build a whole new foundational architecture for our quantum computers, a topological core.
Topological. I'm just saying it like that, chat, just so it sounds more important. Topological.
Allowing us to scale to not tens or hundreds of qubits on a chip, but millions, all in the palm of your hand.
Majorana's theory showed that mathematically it's possible to have a particle that is its own antiparticle. That means you can take two of these particles and you bring them together, and they could annihilate, and there's nothing left.
Wait.
Rewind that. Rewind it. Rewind
Did he
it.
just say-
Rewind it.
Did he just say that it can annihilate and there'll be nothing left? Is that what he just said?
Rewind it, guys. I want to hear that again.
He showed that mathematically it's possible to have a particle that is its own antiparticle. That means you can take two of these particles and you bring them together, and they could annihilate, and there's nothing left.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
So he's talking about matter and antimatter, is what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, these two things could touch each other and everything doesn't exist anymore. I'm excited.
Or you could take two particles and you bring them together, and you just have two particles.
but we don't know which one it's gonna be.
Right, I was just saying.
It could go either way.
It could go either way. Do you cut the yellow wire or the red wire or the blue wire? One could explode it. The other one, who knows? Let's just do it.
Sometimes it's nothing, the zero state, and sometimes it's the electron, the one state.
So it really has taken quite some thinking, right? Some time to design a device, design a chip that can enable measurement of this literally elusive particle. We've designed a chip that is able to measure the presence of Majorana.
The presence of what?
Measure the presence of the particle that doesn't exist that they made.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So they made a scale for a thing that doesn't exist.
I'm with them so far. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
Majorana allows us to create a topological qubit.
Topological.
A topological qubit is reliable.
A topological.
Small and controllable. This solves the noise problem that creates errors in qubits. Now that we have these topological qubits, we're able to build an entirely new quantum architecture, the topological core, which can scale to 1 million topological qubits on a tiny chip.
Bet you guys didn't. Let me tell you, it could do 1 million times the thing that we didn't know it could do before. Possibly we could blow up the whole entire planet, but we will have quantum computers to make it better. If it works. If it doesn't, kiss your ass goodbye.
Every single atom in this chip is placed purposefully. It is constructed from ground up. It is entirely a new state of matter. Think of us as building the picture by painting it atom by atom. In a regular chip, the computation is done using electrons. We don't use electrons for compute. We use Majoranas for computing. It's an entirely new particle.
New particle for computing.
Right.
It's half electron.
When we look at the design of this chip, right, first of all, you can fit so much on just a small form factor. Right?
She's excited. You see her eyes?
Yeah, she's got crazy eyes.
She went crazy eyes there. She went Spider-Man villain right there when she was talking about it, right? Like Doc Ock crazy eyes.
Right, this chip can store over
Is he flicking us off? He's flicking us off.
1 million qubits, right? Over 1 million can fit on just this.
If this was Grand Theft Auto, Sarge, the finger that he just gave us, they would break it down and go, this is when the date of the chip's coming out. It's the fuck you. They're going to kill us all on January 1st of 2031. That's what they would do.
Small form factor. In addition, we don't want to wait centuries or millennia for a solution.
Who's got time for
this
that?
chip also offers the right speed to get solutions from the chip in a reasonable, efficient, amount of time. That's the beauty in this qubit design, the topological qubit. It has the right size, the right speed, and the right type of controllability. And all of that together means that it has an ability to scale like no other.
Of course.
The way the system that we are constructing works is you have the quantum accelerator, you have a classical machine that works with it and controls it, and then you have the application that essentially goes between.
Can I just say real quick? It's good wire management there. Just a little it's a little bad. It's a little bad, but pretty good.
And controls it. And then you have the application that essentially goes between classical and quantum depending on which problem it's trying to solve. Once the computations are done, the results are resynthesized on the classical side and produced back to the user as one complete answer. Where the quantum machine shines, it is able to do simulations, particularly in chemistry and materials, that are extremely accurate as an actual wet lab experiment. Imagine a world where a scientist computes the material that they want, and they compute it to the accuracy that it's first time right. So when you walk into a lab, you don't need to experiment anymore. Imagine a battery that you charge it once and you never have to worry about discharging.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You know how much money they would lose?
Sellable. That's not sellable. We can't. We only sell one battery and that's it. That ain't
yeah, lifetime battery. How much does that battery cost?
What can you do with 1 million qubits?
The real question is, Sarge, what does this mean for gaming?
In the last few years, there's an explosion of artificial intelligence, right? Co-pilots. And what's so inspiring about a quantum computer is that with a quantum computer augmenting the AI capability, it can help more, drive even more discovery.
What makes me excited about quantum computing is that it will give us the tool to tackle many of these challenges at the fundamental level by creating new chemicals, new drugs, new enzymes for food production.
Honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing right now because this is something we've thought about for a while.
Bill Gates must be jizzing in his pants right now.
You have to understand that the way that they're talking, they're very excited.
It's like watching porn for them.
They're very excited. They're not talking about theory. They're talking about something that's close. Like they actually have something.
Like they're doing it. Yeah.
Right. You don't act this is how nerds are excited. They are very excited.
Yeah.
Like this is not theory. They might be saying it's theory, but they probably have something working.
No. They know it will happen. They have the plans. They're telling you what they're doing.
Years or more.
We call the ages of mankind by materials. We've talked about the Stone Age.
Yeah, that's the Epcot ball.
We've talked about the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, the Steel Age, the Silicon Age. Materials define our culture, define our mankind, define our progress. Thus, what could be more powerful than having a machine that can let you radically change the way we work with materials?
Our leadership has been working on this program for the last 17 years. It is the longest running research program in the company. And after 17 years, when we are showcasing our results, we are showcasing results that are not just incredible.
You think your graphic card's expensive? Wait till you get this chip.
They're real. They're real because they will fundamentally redefine how the next stage of the quantum journey takes place.
We're at the cusp of a quantum age, and Majorana 1 is just the beginning.
So there you go.
Right, so what we're what they're really discussing about is, like, we were never alive, but like when the first transistor was made, like the first transistor was made, so they can make radios and the first time televisions and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're looking at the future version of the first transistor ever.
Right.
So
this
like
is the next. This is the next generation.
Right. This is the beginning.
Transistor.
Right. This is the next. This is the beginning of the future generations of where we're going for technology. That's crazy shit, dude. Right. That's crazy shit. That's on magnitudes of levels of crazy.
Well, we talked about it, what, like 6-7 months ago, about actually probably over a year ago, about the chips that can download the entire internet in like a millisecond.
But that's what they're talking about.
Right, but no, that's different than that, right?
Yeah.
That's fat. The chip that we read about last year is a fast chip, but this is next level, right? This is 1,000 times more powerful
Paul.
than that chip.
Right. This is why they're so excited. Like, they're probably close to something.
Correct. But listen, like when we first set off the first rocket into space, the computer power was in a giant room. Now our cell phones are 1,000 times more powerful than the thing that sent off the first rocket, right?
Yeah.
So the quantum chips that we already have are quantum chips, or quantum computers, I should say. But this quantum computer that they're trying to make is 1,000 times more powerful than the quantum computer that's already here. That's what they're doing, right?
This is next level crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Right. The science fiction will become reality. That's right, Argus. It's true.
Yeah.
Because think about it this way: if you have to invent the material, that means that it's not mineable. You have to actually create it. So I'm not sure we're ready to have that kind of power yet. Right, because people,
according to
the
evil villain, the Bond villain, who's like,
Yeah.
two balls attached and they could do massive, and we just all die, or they just become something else. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, if you mix those three things together, you get Skynet for sure.
Right. Let's just flip a coin. Should we do it? Hey, all right.
Yeah, you get Skynet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is I'm going to show the two videos of the new characters coming in tomorrow for Marvel Rivals, right? So I've been playing Marvel Rivals. I like Marvel Rivals. This is the first video of the Thing. Okay.
So not get just put my dunce hat on. I like superheroes.
All right. So here's Thing. This is his little trailer that they gave.
Put my superhero on. I like my superhero.
Benjamin J. Quinn, reporting for duty.
He looks good.
Too easy.
You know what? That's satisfying. Punching Hawkeye in the face like that, it's real satisfying.
I could see like that.
Let's rumble. I'll cover you. That's gonna bruise. Let's go, Logan. Ready to throw down. It's clobbering time!
There it is. It's slobbering time. So you go. There's
Great ad. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect
that.
ad for the thing from Fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and then let me get the other one for you guys. All right. Then we have the Human Torch. Human Torch, Argus says, I hear he's OP. Yeah, he looks OP. You can see it. Watch when you see this.
Human Torch in the house, yo! You don't look so hot! Boom goes the meteor! No applause? Dodge this!
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that he did that the first time. So he shot 4 things and then made some sort of, wall of fire around them. That's pretty cool.
I'm the brightest in the sky! Supernova!
Fire tornado!
Firestorm! Flame on!
So that was Storm.
That was Storm's tornado with his fire turned into a
Correct. Storm
tornado.
turned into the wind and turned into a flame tornado.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, but
yeah, I think
my question is with your AOE heal bubble and power bubble, if he puts that around you, does it nullify it? Does it nullify the heal bubble that you guys put down? If he puts the flame thing around you and activates it, and you're inside your power bubble, does it still damage you?
You're talking about the 4 flames, or you're talking about the tornado that he put, or the fire that he put in?
I'm talking about the square. He put down the 4 things activated.
Yeah, I don't know. If you put your heal bubble inside that, does that damage you while you're inside?
Right, while you're inside that.
Yeah,
right,
it might. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It comes out tomorrow, so I'll play it this weekend and give it a shot.
People are gonna be busy this weekend. That looks fun. The thing looks fun.
Yeah, thing looks really good. And he doesn't get knocked back. So, like, you won't get pushed off or anything like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Human Torch looks like a fun character as well. So, excited about that.
But now you're going to get a team this weekend to do the Fantastic Four, right?
Right. You're going to see Fantastic Four.
You're going to see Fantastic Four.
Yeah. All right. The last thing I want to talk about, Sarge, before we take some Q&A questions here. Okay. What time is it? Yeah, we got 15 minutes. This is an abomination. Okay, we just looked at the thing,
the character,
and people would look at the thing and go, "He's an abomination." No. Here is an abomination that I don't. If you're a toy maker,
what did I miss?
No, hold on. If you're a toy maker, Sarge.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about Rivals. I got you.
No, if you're a toy maker, you want to make the baddest ass. You want to make some really cool looking
toy action figures. Yeah.
You don't want to make this.
What the fuck is that?
That is the new Minecraft Steve toy.
So a middle-aged fat guy.
Aren't you excited about this, Sarge?
You're being serious, bro?
Yeah.
That's a troll, right? That's just fake.
No, that's the actual. That's
going to be sold. That's going to be sold.
That's sold. That's in the
middle-aged fat guy sold on a shelf.
That's right. It's Jack Black, the action figure as Steve. See, it says right there, Steve by Mattel. What are we doing, Mattel? What are we doing? You have this cool fucking game of Minecraft. You have Steve. We know what Steve looks like. Box character, like that's Steve.
We got it.
Okay. Then you have this abomination.
But I don't. He looks like a pedo, right? Right? Horseman, doesn't it? Like you just sold. You're selling kids the pedo guy.
Yeah. So bad.
I don't understand what's going on, bro. Who is running these companies?
People that are out of touch with what kids want. Hey, little kid, what do you want for Christmas? I want Fat Jack Black action figure. Like what? I want a cool action figure.
This looks like a middle-aged fat guy sold on a shelf.
Hold on.
Gaming Fire, I think you should buy it because I think it might be worth money because it's so bad that it's gonna go away.
Let me ask you, kids. Do you want fucking a truck that transforms and it's Optimus Prime with some lasers and guns and truck and transforms, or do you want Fat Jack Black? Like, what are we talking about?
I don't get it, bro. Just make anything else. Like literally anything else.
Kids want to have fun.
This is like the scene from Big, where Tom Hanks is in the room and he's playing with the building, and the guy's talking about how awesome it's going to be because it's 30% of the market, and he goes, "I don't get it. What's fun about playing with a building, right?"
That's exactly right.
What's fun about playing with a fat middle-aged guy? I don't understand what we're doing. What are we doing?
I can just imagine some kid, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, girl, boy, whatever. They're playing with Jack Black, and then Barbie comes along. Like, oh, this just looks bad.
It looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Yeah.
It's just
Hey,
get
Barbie.
Jack Black away from Barbie, would you? Back away from Barbie.
Want to get some hot dogs? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Hey, we got a new movie coming out of Minecraft. Instead of making Jack Black, why don't we make it animated? No, let's make Jack Black, and we'll have a whole toy line
Based on him.
based on Jack Black being Jack Black. Genius. Talk about minimal viable product. Okay,
They took a picture of him.
there's no effort in this fucking thing at all.
They literally took a picture of him in the costume before they started the show. They started to shoot the movie, and they go, just put that in the computer and just print out the 3D printer. Let's just go. It's perfect. We go. just a picture of Jack Black. We put it in the 3D printer, printed it out, mass produced it. That's the toy. That's we're gonna go with it.
It looks like something you hold up in court. Is this the man who touched you? What in the world, man? This shit. This is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I apologize for every kid out there that just wanted Steve from Minecraft. You know, the normal Steve.
The normal Steve, yeah.
Not this Steve.
Let's put it this way. Let's say he's out of the box, right? What would anyone think when you saw this thing on the floor?
They're like, why do you have Jack Black?
Right? Like, what's the question gonna be? Like, who the fuck is that? Like, what is that? Jack Black? Is that a Jack Black figure? Like, no one's gonna relate that to Minecraft. It's horrible.
Horrible. My son laughed hysterically, Krebsy. He was like, "What is that?" I was like, "That's Steve." He's like, "That's a fat guy." That's what he said. That's a fat guy. I said, "That's Steve." He's like, "It's terrible. It's terrible." The apple doesn't fall
10.
too far from the tree. Yeah, he's 10. Yeah. And let me tell you, I didn't ruin him. Right? I didn't ruin him. Minecraft Steve ruined him when he first saw the goddamn trailer. He's like, what is that? Have you guys seen the villagers? Have you seen the Minecraft villagers in the movie? Hold on a second. Let me find this abomination to show you.
I'm so jaded now that the toy company is just they folded up shop, man.
Let me.
Have you guys ever walked into an Ollie's? Has anyone walked into an Ollie's to see the toys that are sitting in Ollie's? Holy shit, bro. Ollie's looks like that Toys R Us burnt to the ground and they transferred all the toys that were in there that no one wanted, like the Island of Misfit toys, directly into Ollie's.
This is, what is this one called? This is the Minecraft villagers.
I mean, do they have pipes in their mouth?
That's their nose. That's their noses.
Come on, bro.
That's their noses. That's what they look like.
But that's what their noses are because the game is blocky. You could just trim it back to make an actual nose. It looks ridiculous.
Robert Jones, thank you very much for the $2. Buy one for your young 30 to see his reaction. I can't. I don't want that abomination in my house. How about I bring him to the toy store and let him hold it for 3 seconds? I'll take a picture. How about that?
I just don't get it, man. The toy companies are broken. They're just broken, bro. Nobody's in charge. It's like a ghost ship just moving around the ocean. That they don't know what toys are.
I don't understand movies nowadays where they want to make everything live action. All right, we got a couple of minutes. If you guys want to put some questions in chat, I'll put the banner up. I'm doing a play. Let's play tonight with Avowed.
Apollyon.
So if you guys can put your questions in, we'll try to answer them as quick as possible. And then when this stream ends, it'll kick you over to.
I mean, imagine just put yourself. I'm 6 years old. I saw Minecraft. Awesome. I unwrapped my birthday present, and it's a fat Jack Black figure. I'm gonna be like ecstatic because it's Steve from Minecraft. Like, the fuck are we doing, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Some kid's gonna open that up and be like, "Oh my god, this is not the Steve I asked for." You said Steve from Minecraft. Be like, "That's not Steve, Dad."
I'm just so my brain is just twisted looking at that. I don't understand. They sat in a room and discussed it, bro. They sat in a room and talked about what they were going to do for the figure, and they all agreed this is the way to go. You know that the room is full of yes men. You know it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know the room was full.
What a great idea, Jack. Yeah, let's just make the game just look like you. That's phenomenal. He's like, I don't feel like getting in shape or anything for this film. I just wonder if you could just use this great manjo belly of mine to get inside the game. I play Minecraft. Like that's what Jack Black did. And they're like, beautiful, Jack.
Beautiful, Jack.
Yeah. It's gonna be millions. It's gonna be awesome.
Dude, that doll's gonna be in Ollie's in a week. It's gonna be a truckload of Jack Blacks buried in the desert.
Nobody should buy this. Send a message. Nobody wants fat Jack Black as an action figure for Minecraft.
It's so disheartening.
Minecraft is blocky. He's nowhere near blocky.
He's just a fat guy.
Yeah.
He might as well come with his guitar from his band or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's not
it's
even.
Like, look, all it is him trying to be like Steve. It's like a Halloween costume, but him doing no effort whatsoever being Steve from Minecraft.
Right. We want you to be Steve in Minecraft, but we don't want you to work out or do anything.
Right. We just put a blue shirt on.
Right. Just put a blue shirt on. We'll just film you. We'll just film
and then
you.
Just say you're Steve. I'm Steve.
No, but don't say it like that. I am Steve. That's the way you have to say it. Imagine the talking version of that. You push the button, and he says stuff.
It's ridiculous. All right. First question we have. Okay, Altern says, what would you sell more, fat guy of Steve or lesbian Jason Momoa toy? Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, definitely.
Have we seen the lesbian Jason Momoa toy yet? Hold on a second. Let me look that up.
Lesbian Jason Momoa toy, hands down. It'll be the first.
Let me see what his action figure. Do we know what that looks like yet?
Trans figure ever, right? That'll be the first trans figure.
This has got to be good, right? Do we have it? Let me see. We don't see it. I see the Lego toys.
It's probably hidden. They're probably hiding it.
Yeah, they don't want to show that. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see it any day now, though. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go Jason Momoa. I think the lesbian Jason Momoa sells more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's Jason. At the end of the day, it's Jason Momoa, right? I think Jason Momoa is more popular than Jack Black. I don't know. Next question. Robert Jones says, how is Avowed received in the timeline where they marketed it as a ARPG instead of an RPG? How is it in the timeline where they marketed as an action RPG than an RPG? What do you mean by that? Like, I don't watch a lot of commercials. So in the marketing material, they marketed as a action RPG instead of an RPG? Is that what you were saying? Because I don't see commercials for it.
I think I would I would put it in the action RPG category because
I would too. But
it's not a true RPG.
Is that how they marketed though? That's what my question is. Because I haven't seen the advertisements for it. The trailers I saw was an RPG. Is it labeled that?
I mean, I can't look at it and call it a traditional RPG.
Yeah, it says Avowed is an action role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment. So it is advertised as an action RPG. Now, hold on a second.
Yeah, that would be correct. Because it's got
Skyrim is also advertised as an action role-playing game.
That's true, because Baldur's Gate is an RPG.
Right. So Skyrim...
Because the story elements matter, your decisions matter. That's a true RPG.
Right. So it's marketed the same as what a Skyrim would be, or those types of games. Next question is, Altern says, so whose fault is it when the $70 game I broken is the regular dev's fault, the managers or the CEO, stupid nephew, or had the mandatory changes? As I said yesterday, I don't care whose fault it is. I throw them all together and say the company who made it, it's their fault. Unless the guy comes out and the writing's bad, then I'm going to blame the writer. I can't not blame the writer for the writing not to be bad because a dog bit him on the ankle when he was in the studio and the guy didn't give the line at that time. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't care what happened. All I know is the writer in the credits, it rolls by, it says, Tom Dickory is the writer.
Tom, you suck.
Right. I'm going to go, the writing was bad. Who's the writer? Tom Dickory is the writer. Tom, you did a bad job at writing. I mean, there's consequences and actions to stuff, right? There's consequences.
I mean, if the game is broken, it's ideally it's the management's fault because they didn't give enough time to fix it.
Sure, right? Sure. But it's also, I would say, if it's the developer's problem where they didn't have time to do it and they couldn't finish it, but they put their name in the credits.
But
I've worked on plenty of things that I didn't want my name associated with it because I didn't like the final product.
But what I have noticed, no matter how it underperforms, not one person says it's my fault. Not one person.
No one takes credibility.
Nobody takes accountability for anything that's wrong with the game.
Yeah, they don't take accountability.
Nobody says we're sorry. We're sorry it didn't work. Like, they don't just say it. They don't just we didn't put enough effort into it. We ran out of time. Sorry. Nobody takes accountability for it. It's just what it is.
We didn't get to one of the stories. One of the stories was Warner Brothers is blaming everything on the president that left. Right? No one said anything before when he was there. Everyone just now blames him because now he's gone. So now they're like, well, he did it.
Yeah, because you were all yes men when he was there.
That's correct.
And then he leaves, and then you blame him. It's nice.
Krebsy says, should Avowed be $70, or do you think it's a $50 price tag would be better? I'll be honest with you, Krebsy. I originally thought it was like a $40 game, $40 to $50 game. I thought it was
like Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I thought it was a cheaper game. And when they said it was $70, I was like, ooh. I was like, well, I'm playing on Game Pass anyway, so I'm good. So I can't tell you right now, at 4 hours in, if it should be a $50 or $70 game. I'll play through the full thing, and then at the end, I can tell you honestly if it was okay, if it was a $70 game or a $50 game or whatever. But right now, I didn't know it was that much because, again, Game Pass. So,
yep.
What do you think, Sarge? Do you think it should be a 70? Do you think it should be 50?
Well, here's how I look at it. If Microsoft doesn't own them as a first-party title.
Well, they do. They owned Obsidian.
No, I know. If they didn't
Oh, you're
own
saying
them,
if they didn't. I got you.
They did not own them. They made this game. They release it for sale. Okay? They release it for sale.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If they didn't own them and they were releasing it for sale.
They're just a development studio that releases this game for sale. Okay? I think that it does its thing for the first month. I think it doesn't perform well. I think the company shuts down because it's not going to sell enough and they have to fire a bunch of people. But because Microsoft owns them and they can put them under Game Pass, it's a drop in the bucket and they see how it goes. And it's just another title on Game Pass to make it interesting for you to want to try Game Pass.
Sure, I can see that.
But this game on its own without them, Obsidian doesn't exist anymore.
I think, well, earlier today I looked at some of the Steam numbers. We just looked at Steam numbers.
I say that not knowing anything because the game just came out. Right?
No,
I'll look at the engagement numbers and see what it is.
What I'm saying is because someone came in the chat and said, well, their other games did about the same on Steam in the past, like Outer Worlds and New Vegas and stuff like that. They all were around about the same on the computer side.
Yep.
Right. Now all of a sudden, I don't know what they sold. We don't know the numbers on console sides. We don't know the numbers because they never share unless they say it.
Right.
Right. So,
but if they don't say anything.
I think a lot of damage is done because of, I said this earlier in my stream, I think it's because of the art director that said stuff. I think they also, because there's inexperienced people, okay, that work in the studio or new, this is why certain things in the game didn't look complete, or maybe they were going to add it, but it ran out of time.
We're going to see if the average gamer buys the game and plays it.
Here's what I hope happens, that the game does pretty well. Okay, for their numbers, not for the public numbers, right? But for their numbers, and they make DLC and stuff for it down the road.
But I'll tell you this: unless the PC and the PlayStation people actually buy the game, it will not.
Right.
It will not. I mean, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just look at that game outside of Game Pass and just tell me if you think if it doesn't underperform.
Right. Well, Game Pass gives the option for people that try a game they would never try before.
That's correct.
Right.
As Mo said right there, you pay, I play.
Wait, well, Sweat Dog, he said that he's never played their game before, but because it's on Game Pass, he tried it, and now he's going to try the Outer Worlds too when it comes out. Right. And so that's what's attractive to developers inside of the Game Pass ecosystem, right? Because they want to put their game out to get to as many people as possible, okay? And if you compare it, let's compare this for a second, okay? Astrobot, which is Game of the Year, okay? Game of the Year for PlayStation was played by 2 million people, okay? 2 million people.
Yeah.
Sold 2 million copies out there for 2 million people.
Not Game of the Year numbers.
But I bet you Avowed got played more than by 2 million people. You see what I'm saying? If you're a developer, you want to make a game and get as many hands as possible.
No, I get it.
So Sony has 75 million, as they said, consoles, but they only sold 2 million Astrobots to the 70 million population.
Yep.
Xbox has 30 million units out there, and they have a potential of getting 35 million people to try the game, where if the game came out and it was just sold, it probably would sell maybe 1 million, 2 million.
But once again, the cushion of Game Pass allows the studio to exist with a half-ass product, even though it's good, allows them to exist. Now, whether or not you want to look at it as it's a good thing, because then the studio gets experience, they don't have to worry about being dismantled. It's more job security for them. They don't have emotional distress. Whatever angle you want to look at. Right, Game Pass allows a chunk of money to be paid to the studio so they can continue working on the next thing to see if they can do something better. Right. Phil Spencer's whole plan is to give value to Game Pass. So you ask the question, does this game give value to Game Pass? Now, the guys in chat who play a lot of games probably will say no, but most of them will say it's a decent game. It's on Game Pass. It's fun to play. Gives me a reason to want to play Game Pass. And that's the win, because that's what they're looking for. But as a standalone game, I'll wait till the numbers come in. I will look at all the numbers, engagement, peak, whatever. I'll look at whatever numbers they give me. And if it doesn't look like those sales were going to make it and it underperformed, that studio is gone. In my mind, gone. Fired, done. Because they didn't make a good enough game. So Game Pass makes you look at it in the good and bad at the same exact time. You get to make a product not on the same level, still get to exist, and it provides a benefit and value to the Game Pass ecosystem.
Yeah, because more people get to play your game and try it out, which then opens up them potentially to other games.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Real quick, Krebsy says, if one Game Pass user played for 32 million Go users pay Avowed, they get paid the same. Right, but what I'm saying is, as a developer... Because
we don't know the deal. We don't know the deal.
Right, the developer making a game, they want to get out as many people as possible. Right. So that, just, if I make a game, I want to go out as many people as possible. So if I make a game and I want to put it on PlayStation and Nintendo and Xbox and PC, I want to try to get out as many people as possible. So if there's 300 million possible people that could buy my game and I only sold 2 million units, but Game Pass is like, well, we're going to give you money up front. You don't need to sell that many. And more people are going to play your game.
So my question is this, it's on PC, right?
It's on PC, yeah.
Is it on PlayStation?
It's on battle.net. It's on Steam.
Yep.
It's on Windows.
Yep.
It's on Xbox.
Yep.
And down the road, it'll probably be on PlayStation down the road.
Down the road.
Yeah.
Right. So you release the game on the platforms that allow you to play anywhere. You want people to see it, they'll play it anywhere. Right. And then afterwards, you test the waters, you release it on PlayStation, and you see whatever you get. Now, I'm going to think, I'll be honest with you, whatever, if it ever releases for PlayStation, then I would think that whatever sales that they make from that game is just gravy because they've already been paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know it's so hard that people don't understand the safety net that this is. $450 million plus a month is going into Game Pass. Sure, they have to pay bills and all kinds of shit. Sure. But there's still a good chunk of money every month for them to decide what to do. So let's say the studio paid $90 million, right? Maybe $90 million to make this game. So you don't think that Microsoft
supposedly they said it's $130 million to make the game.
Okay, so you don't think that out of 1 month out of the fucking year, you don't give them $130 million to cover the cost of the game so they can make another game? Like, you don't think that would happen? Like, we don't know the deal. We don't know the deal. But what I'm saying is this ecosystem allows them to get better at making games.
Right.
Your games go out, right? We're talking about all kinds of levels here, right? Mental level, emotional level. The student, did they work well together? Can they make another game together? This one did well.
Well, they have Outer Worlds 2 coming out later this year.
Right. So do they base their success off of how many people play it on Game Pass? Right? Because if we start using the metric where if they like or don't like them based on IGN's numbers or these reviews or the subreddit where everyone just talks shit about games, I'm sure they probably think they feel shitty about themselves, right? But once again, like I said in the beginning, if this was the vision, you guys decided on the vision, it worked. The vision you had worked. It came out and it worked. You guys high five. We're good. This is exactly what we made, what we discussed, and it made it, and we're proud of it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You were paid for your time, and now we see if it's good. But it's a safety net. But it's a safety net. Right?
Right. You don't have to worry about crunch time or anything like that. You just make the game.
Right. Make the game.
You have a platform to put it on, and it doesn't matter what it sells or doesn't sell because you already got majority of your pay, if not all of it, right?
So if I want to compare it to good, bad, or indifferent here, I could see the bad from the Game Pass games quality go down. But once again, the issue for Game Pass isn't if the quality is going down. The issue is, does this game give value to Game Pass?
Yes.
Does it make people want to play Game Pass because you want to try to get the answers? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because you won't buy it because everyone in subreddit told you it's a piece of shit. Right?
You'd be like, I'll give it a shot.
But people who have Game Pass, they'll play it because they have Game Pass.
Right. So and then the value kind of goes up because if you play it and you didn't spend $70 on it,
right?
You're like, that's pretty good.
So now you can compare the guy who buys games, plays it for 3 hours, and then just throws it in the closet as somebody who has Game Pass and just tries the game and then just doesn't play it anymore. Right. So by that token, if I use the same metric, right? If after 3 months they find out how many people played Avowed, just played it, right? Just played it.
Right.
The number of people who just played, you can just say as Microsoft, well, this many people played it on Game Pass. So that's how many people would have bought it. Right?
Right.
Because you would have to buy it, right?
Right.
So if 3 million people played it on Game Pass, then we'll just pay them for 3 million copies of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you would feel the same way because you played it.
Right. You wanted to sell 3 million copies and you got the 3 million copies and you got additional 10 million people played the game.
Right. You play right. So in that instance, you're paying them for exactly what they would have sold anyway. Right. Because if they're basing it on
and more people played the game.
So let's say they gave them 80% of their cost. Right. Let's say they only gave them 80%. But then they wait 6 months to see how many people played the game. Right. If 3 million people played the game or 4 million people played the game times 60, then they got paid.
Right.
Right? Then they got paid.
And that's why I said I think the budget of the games are also lower than just the putting it out there as normal because they have to keep it low.
That's
because
correct.
they want to sell 2, 3 instead of 5 to 7.
Right. We know that the deals are made differently for Game Pass for each game. We know this.
Yeah,
we just don't. We just don't know. Now we know. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
That's gonna do it for episode 429 is in the can for Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. If you guys like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Thank you very much for the super chat, Robert Jones, today. I appreciate that very much. Anybody that hit the subscribe button, we do appreciate you very much. We'll be back for the regular show on Monday, which is the daily grind, Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Come on by. We just have a conversation, read some news stories, watch some videos, give you my thoughts and opinions, and get yours as well. If you don't watch that live, you can watch the past broadcasts on 30NSG right here. This podcast is on every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern with Sarge. And then right now, I'm going to be playing games over on our other channel called 30 and Still Gaming. We're playing some more Avowed, so come on over there. When this stream ends, it should push you over there. If it doesn't, the link is in the description down below for the other channel of 30 and Still Gaming. Appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your evening and night or day, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Game on, guys.
Retro meets the now and here. Gaming tales you need to hear. Laugh and shout and sometimes sneer. Memories from all those years. Console wars and secret tips. Tips and tricks from pixel trips. News that pours from gaming sips. Critical minds and chaos.